Sorry for starting a bit later than normal. I I had a lot of stuff to do. It was very This has been a like whirlwind of the last 2 weeks. Um yeah. We're going to do more Fata Morgana today. Hopefully we will have a chill weekend because I'm in need of that. uh, yeah. I think the reason I canceled stream last week, I mentioned it, but I was taking on a new on-call. And with that on-call, I had basically I was they were not kidding when they said you're gonna get called every hour. I worked a 60-hour week on the week that I started it, and then another 60-hour week on like this current week. Like, it's been ridiculous. And I think it'd be one thing if I was getting paid overtime, but they don't pay you for overtime. I did it for free. I want to die. This is the life of a salary person. But yeah, because of that work week, I couldn't stream. And I am sorry, but hopefully we can make it up by doing other things. Maybe I have some stuff that I think I want to start planning. And it'd be cool to maybe start doing something in October. I mean, it's the spooky month, right? So I would say please look forward to it. My best Japanese game developer gesture. Yes, bow. Please look forward to it. But yeah, in the meantime, let's go ahead and we'll do some Fata Morgana. I'm chilling here. I had Thai curry for dinner. I have a Thai coffee, although Audra says it's not actually like a Thai. That's not how they normally make it. So I have just a very sweet, slightly weird sweet coffee that I really like. Even if it's not a true Thai coffee, it makes me happy. Let me put that in there, and we can get started. Last chapter was all about manipulation. Just to recap, because it's been a couple weeks. First chapter, we had the forbidden love. Second chapter was all about murder. And, they, like a guy that was basically trying to, like, he thought he was a beast, but he wasn't. But really, are we all the beasts? I don't know. Humanity allegory. And then the last chapter was all about manipulation, and if people just talk to each other in the relationship, maybe they'll sort things out. But nope, they went through not a surrogate. They went between one person. They were just both communicating through one person, thinking that they could trust that person to let each other know their feelings, and they both actually loved each other. And that person was a snake. Just a complete snake. We liked her, and then we found out she was a snake, and we're like, you bitch! You bitch! So, let's go ahead and get started. What we do know about this door is that we've been told that it's going to be our own memories. We don't know that for sure, but that's what we've been told, so maybe we'll finally figure out who we are and what we have to do with the mansion. And what tragically befell us that we can't remember. Straight up, we're already on to the foreboding music. It's just that kind of chapter. Set on a pot, set it on, and also pour water into it. Gather the pieces thereof into it. Even every good piece, the thigh and the shoulder. Fill it with the choice bones. Take the choice of the flock, and burn also the bones under it. And make it boil well, and let them see the bones of it therein. Thus saith the Lord, woe to the bloody city, to the pot whose scum is therein, and whose scum is not gone out of it. Bring it out piece by piece. Let no lot fall upon it. What is going on? Oh, it's the white-haired girl. is she? Where'd she go? She came down this way, I'm sure of it. Find her! Find her. And burn her! Burn the witch! Burn the witch! Burn the witch, burn the witch, burn the witch! Burn her, burn her! I'm not gonna say that many burns. Burn her! Then will I leave thee upon the land. I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of the heaven to remain upon thee. And I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee. And I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains, and fill the valleys with thy height. I will also water with thy blood, wherein thou swimmest, even to the mountains, and the rivers shall be full of thee. And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heaven, and make the stars thereof dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. All the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land. I seem to have lost them. Now, where am I? Where should I go from here? What am I to do? Darkness spreads as far as the eye can see. Not a ray of light shines down upon me. All that strokes my cheek are tendrils of darkness. Every passing day, every fading hour, my world is engulfed in ebony. There exists no kindness in the shadow. Is it just me, or is it really fucking loud? Ah! I'll turn it down a little bit. Let me know if that's too low or still too loud. There exists no kindness in the shadow, only solitude. I've lost track of how long I've been on the run, wandering aimlessly, lost until I arrived at this dark forest. I no longer have anywhere to go. O Father who art in heaven, I kneel to thee within my heart and ask thee thy blessing. O Father who art in heaven, I ask thee to shine thy light upon me and show me the way. Please have mercy upon my soul. O Father who art in heaven, I do love thee dearly, hallowed be thy name. Please show me the way. I may be shunned and persecuted, and I may have no place to go. And nevertheless, I'm unable to give up on life, to cast aside my hope. O Father who art in heaven, please guide me into salvation. O Father who art in heaven, please guide me. I can no longer remember when my life became naught but running, when it became endless wandering in the dark. And now, when I've reached the point where I've long since forgotten my hunger and thirst, my voice has become hoarse, my vision gone blurry, and my consciousness begun sinking into a hazy morass, that mansion appears before me, wrapped up in a morning fog that seems to foretell rain. What's going on here? She looking up? She looking? Oh my! The mansion comes into view like the world fading in after a dream. It doesn't appear as though anyone lives here. All the windows are either boarded up or shuttered, as if it's long since been abandoned. A tower, which seems out of place on a personal residence, stands tall beside the mansion. The whole building seems as though it could disappear with the fog. Oh, did she say something and I just didn't notice? She was ... Okay. It has an unwelcoming presence, freezing me in my tracks. I'm gonna move this a little bit closer. I feel like I'm a little quiet. Am I? I don't know. Let me know if I'm too quiet or too loud, and the game is too quiet or too loud. I don't want to be blowing up people's ears, or you just can't hear me at all. However, if this is where you have led me, then I shall follow your guidance. Having nowhere else to go, this mansion is my only salvation. The light that guides my way, And so I must have faith that no matter what I find, whether spirits or wild beasts dwell within these walls, this is where I will find peace. Is anyone there? I guess it is abandoned. Makes sense. It would be more unusual for someone to be living in a house so deep in the woods, so far from civilization, like it's been forgotten to time. I can't imagine anyone spending their days here. I place my hand on the front door. What if I can't get in? I very much doubt I'll find anywhere else to stay wandering around through the woods. If the door doesn't open, then I'll die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I'm not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please, open. The door is heavy, and though it seems to protest my attempts to enter, it still opens much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I get the strangest impression light is being swallowed up into the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, it feels as though I'm about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I close the door, it's so dark I can't even tell where I'm walking. I wonder if the window's open. So I manage to fumble my way over to a window. It's tightly shuttered, and the shutters are caked with rust. I'm probably not going to get it open without a fight. If only I had some source of light. I can't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It feels like the floor will fall out from under me, and I'll sink into eternal darkness if I don't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walk forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There's a door at the end of a long corridor. I pull it open, and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushes past me. It's too dark to see anything, but I can feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness grips me. Is anybody here? My voice simply disappears into the void. I'ma drink some coffee. Sorry. No response. Coffee! Num num. As I'm pushing forward through the freezing air, for a split second, I spot a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I'm able to make out a large window. Oh, hold on. Okay. Alright, I see. We're good. I got a message. Haha. Unlike the others, it's not shuttered, but covered in drapes. My chances are slim, I imagine, but there's even a slight possibility of getting some light in here. It's worth a shot. So I pull open the drapes. Next moment, faint but colorful light shines down on me. It's a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I can hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. I guess it finally started. The different colors of light blend into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's gorgeous. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be... Please do not touch the drapes. Or the windows. Suddenly I hear a voice, and I can sense someone else in the room. The man's voice is emotionless, neither deep nor high. Before long, he comes into view, illuminated by dull orange candlelight. Oh my god, it's Michael! Mitchell! Michael, Mitchell. Is this Michael or Mitchell? Hold on. This is another one of those names that I'm gonna look it up. How is... Oh, yeah. I'm gonna make sure. What is the anglicized pronunciation? You pronounce it the way that the person pronounces it. Great! I love the voice acting in this game telling me. Beautiful. Okay, YouTube, let me know. I'm gonna use the power of the tube. Michelle? Should I go with Michelle? Okay. I might do that. Michelle. Well, no, but that sounds like Michelle. I'm just gonna say Mitchell. And if I'm wrong, somebody can correct me on that, but until further notice, this is now Mitchell. I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but, I did announce myself. Mitchell not happy. The man stands there, practically blending in with the darkness. Has he been there the whole time? He's staring straight at me. His gaze wavers slightly, but not enough for me to read anything in it. The candle in his hand and the light from the stained glass window are the only illumination in the room, neither of which are particularly bright. As a result, his outline is faint and blurred. It gives off the impression that he might vanish entirely between blinks. My apologies, I assumed the house was abandoned. I suspect you would have preferred it to be abandoned. Not at all. Is this... do you live in this mansion? Yes, I have for a very long time. I thought I had barred the front door, but it would seem I left it open. What brings you here? If you're lost, I'm happy to give you directions. There's a village west of here. It should take you maybe half a day on foot. If you're in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. Trade it for food at the village, then make your way to a larger town. There it is, with the trading it for furniture. Every chapter. Trade in the furniture, and maybe you would avoid this tragedy. Please, allow me to stay here. Could you repeat that? I cannot go to the village. No, I cannot go anywhere. I'm no longer able to freely return to any town. I'm being hunted. You seem rather young to be a sinner. So you have transgressed. I am neither a thief nor an adulterer. If I bear any sin, then it has been with me since birth. I will do everything I can to stay out of your way. I simply ask that you grant me shelter until it all blows over. If you wish to know of my transgression, I will tell you. So please, do not throw me out. I see. And do you ask this of me aware of how people refer to this mansion? Pardon? It is said that a witch once lived in this house. Not just any witch, a cursed witch. This house has been tainted by her seething hatred, and all who dwell within meet their demise. But you live here, don't you? Like her, I too am cursed. Huh? What kind of curse? The one thing I can tell you is that your life is in danger if you get involved with me. Should you approach my curse, I am likely to take your life. You'll kill me? Yes, so you do not belong here. To live with me in this mansion is to sentence yourself to death. No matter what path I choose, I very much doubt I have a future. And if that's the case, then I shall live how I want. I don't care what people say about you or this mansion. I wish to stay here. You might think I'm rather strange, but my heart tells me that I must stay here. That I was guided here. And hearing what you have to say only reinforces that. What are you scheming? I'm not scheming anything. I'm simply tired of running. So if your curse is going to kill me, then perhaps that's for the best. At the very least, you won't be hunting me. You won't try to flay me or tear off my arms or rip the flesh from my bones. That's enough for me. You've committed no sin, then why do they hunt you so fervently? I am accused of being a witch. Master? Master? Please wake up. Return to me. Ah, have you come too, Master? I apologize for sending you through the door without warning. It must have given you quite the scare. But I beg your forgiveness. I heard a terrible screaming from down the stairs, and I panicked. You say you saw the white-haired girl? I see. So you made it into the world beyond the door before me. I'm deeply relieved that I was able to take your hand before losing sight of you. I presume you've already grown familiar with the atmosphere of this time period, Master. I forgot what time period this is. That was said before I saved last night. Fata Morgana. Door for time period. Shit. I don't remember. I think this might actually be the earliest door, because the first was in the 1600s, then 1700s, then 1800s. I think this one is actually before any of those, if I remember correctly. I think so, at least. Let me double check. Although I hope I don't get spoiled. Oh, I'm just gonna assume it's maybe like the 1400s. Either somewhere between the 1000s to the 1400s. That's what I'm remembering. But I just don't remember for sure. I presume you've already grown familiar with the atmosphere at this time period, Master. If you have seen her, as you said, then you should have a basic grasp of the situation. She was a very misfortunate girl in this era, accused of being a witch, abused, and persecuted. Her life was in constant danger. It was again her appearance that brought this upon her. That snow-white hair and those ruby-red eyes clearly differentiated her from everyone else. Oh, and I apologize. I neglected to mention that this door is unique. As for what sets it apart, that will be made clear as we proceed, though one difference is in the time period. The tales I have shown you begin with that of the beautiful flaxen-haired family, followed by the tale of the bloodthirsty beast, and then the tale of steel and ambition, proceeding in chronological order. However, the door we have just entered now takes us to the period now known as the Middle Ages, long, long before the other three tales. Wait. What was that? Okay, so 500 to about 1400 to 1500. So I'd say I was probably right on the money in terms of it being sometime in like the 1000s. Yes, that is correct. this is where it all began. The mansion's curse, the truth of the witch, and your identity. All of this should be made known. If, after this tale, you are still unable to reclaim your old self, then there is nothing more I can do. This door contains the last tale I am able to tell you. So I ask of you, please do not let go of my hand until this is all over. Now then, let us begin a beautiful, tragic love story of two solitary souls trapped in a mansion of darkness. In that era, the mansion was a dungeon draped in darkness. After a great deal of time on the run, the white-haired girl found herself at a remote mansion that stood in the dark, overgrown forest. All the windows were either boarded or shuttered, and it was even darker inside the house than out. Not even a ray of moonlight could enter those walls. Only naturally, the white-haired girl had assumed that nobody lived there, but her guess was incorrect. Someone did indeed dwell within the house. It was a young man named Mitchell. Though she could not make out the details of his face in the candlelight, she thought him a very handsome man. However, he proclaimed to her that a witch resided within the mansion, and that he too was cursed. Everyone who got close to him lost their lives. Do you think that what he told her was all nonsense? A lie devised to chase her out of the house? The truth of the matter shall come to light in time. Despite Mitchell's assertions, the white-haired girl decided that she would take up residence within the mansion. This era's white-haired girl was younger than the others. She was still in her early teens, young enough to be seen as still a child. But she was neither as self-centered nor irresponsible as you might expect of someone her age. She was very delicate and reserved, and acted with a great deal of modesty and restraint. The accusations of her being a criminal and sinner were grossly inappropriate. Nevertheless, she was still chased from her home, barely managing to flee to this mansion with her life. Now, the white-haired girl thought it would be rude simply to take up space in the mansion, so she chased down the master, Mitchell, and asked, is there anything that I can do to help? I'll clean or cook or do anything, just let me know. I want to repay you for allowing me to stay here. You need not feel indebted to me. The weight of that obligation will only turn into disdain. But I can't just stay here and do nothing. Do whatever you like, as long as... As long as? You do not enter my room. That is all I ask of you. He said emotionally, turning and walking off. Mitchell was not, I believe, spurning her. He was merely disinterested. He did not treat her disrespectfully, nor did he seem averse to her presence. Words simply did not seem to affect him at all. Not only was the mansion a prison for his body was also a prison ensnaring his heart. I should still do whatever I can. But she did not let that get her down. In fact, she may have even interpreted his disinterest as kindness. Though he was a bit standoffish, he did not attempt to cause her harm. He was nothing like the people who had accused her of being a witch and forced her to flee for her life. And she was deeply grateful for that. Thus began their quiet life together. Mitchell, who avoided contact with others, and the white-haired girl, who had taken a great deal of abuse from others. Two people who hardly knew anything about one another, who were too distant to be really said to be living together. Mitchell spent most of his days in his chambers, so they only ever saw each other occasionally, and they hardly ever spoke. Though they stayed in the same house, they both still lived solitary lives. Nonetheless, the white-haired girl wanted to get to know Mitchell better. She wanted to know why he called himself cursed. Why he lived alone in this dark mansion. How many days, how many years he had spent here in solitude. And while she waited for the opportunity, she also started doing things around the house. The first project she set to take care of was cleaning. As the windows were all firmly shut, her only source of light was candles. For whatever reason, there was a great deal of candles stored in the cellar. She wondered where on earth he had acquired so many, but she never found the opportunity to ask him. It was difficult to even see all the dust and cobwebs with only candlelight, and considering the poor airflow through the house, she was afraid her efforts were going to be in vain. Still, she persisted, sweeping and wiping things down, one room at a time. Eventually, she made her way to the library. The dust that had settled there was much heavier than in any other room. With each breath, she had to fight back coughs. It was not a room one would normally be comfortable spending much time in, but the sight of so many bulky volumes lining the shelves sent her heart aflutter with delight. Wait, I thought most people couldn't read in the Middle Ages. This is fine. They're books. Incredible. Real books. The white-haired girl had never seen a book before. She had heard people describe them, but that was the first time she'd ever seen one for herself. Parchment was a very valuable commodity in that era. Oh, they're gonna mention it. It was something monks or scholarly priests made use of, and not a material one could easily acquire without some degree of social rank. Books were not printed with machines, but copied by hand. A single volume took an incredible amount of work to create. Even the process of binding was an art. Standing before a shelf, she stared intently at the spines. There's so much dust. Does he not read any of them? Just a peek. Just a tiny little peek, she said, making excuses to the empty room as she reached her hand toward one of the books. The tome that caught her eye was on the upper shelf. It bore gorgeous jade embossing and looked like it belonged in a treasure chest. Almost. Though she intended to act older than her age, the white-haired girl was still in her early teens and not especially tall. Even standing tiptoe, it was just barely within reach. At long last, her slender fingers made contact with the spine, and she began to pull the book toward her. The library had sat abandoned for some time, causing the covers to stick together. So when she attempted to pull one out, several others tilted with it. And then... almost all the books on the shelf came avalanching down onto her. Ow! The white-haired girl groaned, buried under a mountain of parchment. She hoped she had not damaged any of her host's valuable collection, for the mess was enough of a setback already in her attempt to express her gratitude. Looking around, she saw one volume that was almost torn in half. She did not know whether it was in that condition before, or if it had happened in the fall, but nonetheless, she felt horribly guilty. Sitting there, unable to get back to her feet, tears began welling in her eyes. Then, suddenly, a shadow fell upon the dejected girl. It took a book in its hand and returned it to the shelf. For a brief moment, the shadow's hand reached hesitantly towards the white-haired girl, and changed course toward another book. It was Mitchell. There was a hint of perplexity in his otherwise emotionless eyes. Perhaps he had heard the noise and come to see what had caused it. I'm so sorry. Your books, What were you doing? I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to make a mess. I didn't mean to damage such precious books. There's no need to panic. I'm sorry. You make it sound as though I'm admonishing you. What? Did you want to read a book? I do, but that's not what I originally came here to clean. clean?
Yes, I felt guilty simply being idle.
I did say you could do as you pleased, but you have no responsibility to clean anything.
I just ended up making a bigger mess anyway. I'm sorry.
You needn't apologize.
Okay.
You want to read? Help yourself to any of the books.
But I don't know how to read. I just thought the cover was pretty, so I wanted to hold it.
You're free to use them however you wish. If looking at them is enough for you, then by all means.
These are all your books, aren't they?
They are.
That's incredible. You have so many. It must have taken you a long time to acquire them all.
1 per month.
What?
My family sends one every month.
Every month?
The white-haired girl turned her gaze back toward the shelves, squinting her eyes and beginning to count. When she finished, she was in awe. There were in excess of 100 books on the shelves, which meant he had lived there in solitude for many years. How many years is that? I'm bad at math. It's not 12 years. I mean, it's not 10 years. Maybe about 8 years he'd lived there? That seems right. She was at a loss for words. They're dull tomes, dreadfully inoffensive and not even interesting enough to waste a few hours with. Decoration is all they're good for.
I see.
If you can put them to some use, then perhaps my having them won't be entirely meaningless anymore. I'm gonna return to my room. Don't feel obligated to clean up.
Just a minute.
Is there something else?
Could you tell me your name? I just realized I never asked for your name. Not knowing what to call you will make the conversation awkward.
You don't need my name to.
I want to, though.
Mitchell.
Mitchell. Like the Archangel. Name suits you quite well.
It suits me?
It does, although it's difficult to see you in the dark. You seem to be a very handsome man befitting of your name.
I beg to differ. Giving me his name is the highest form of mockery. I expect the real Archangel is probably rather annoyed by it.
I don't know. I think it's a wonderful name.
And you're?
Huh?
No, never mind.
Oh, my name?
Are you finally gonna learn it?
My name is Gazelle.
Wait. Is this the same Gazelle from that other memory? I can't remember now. Shit! No! That's weird. It's blocked off here. But I think it's a wonderful name. This is really interesting. If I scroll up here, when they're talking about names, it's blocked out. What the hell? The word name, can you tell me your name? And then Mitchell is blocked out. Mitchell, and then the name Archangel, like the word Archangel. And I think it's a wonderful name. That's really interesting. Was Gazelle... What was the name of the person from that other chapter? That's what I want to remember. I'm gonna save real quick. Because if she was already, if Gazelle, like, from before... I don't have any other save data, so I don't know what I would do. I can be your archangel or your archdevil. Hi Mochi, how's it going? I hope you've had a good couple weeks. I can let this game be like, I can be your... Oh damn, it's not working. I can be your... Or your... Because it literally just blanks everything out. Yeah, I'm just wondering if, like, and now I can't remember. So, that sucks. But I think Gazelle was mentioned in the previous chapter. Despair. Well, I'm sorry about your despair with school, but I'm glad you're doing okay as well, so... And my best wishes to you that gets kinda... The workload gets lighter, and school stops being a butt. Yes. Coffee.
Please, call me Gazelle.
Digital pear? What do you mean a digital pear? I like pears. Pears are pretty tasty, but I don't know about digital pears. Is there anything wrong with digital pears? Tell me.
Oh, thank goodness.
For what?
I was able to get your name and talk to you for a little bit.
They're not iconic. Oh. It's a bad uni joke. Am I just too old now? I'm just so old I don't know the uni jokes anymore. That's a tragic thing if that's the truth of the matter. Oh. No, you're fine. You're fine, Mochi. All good. Yeah, I haven't had a pear in like years, but they're so good, dude.
And talk to you for a little bit. We haven't seen much of each other since I first arrived, so I'm glad that I got to hear your voice. So very glad.
You gain nothing by speaking to me. You have no responsibility to do so, and there is no need for you to feel joy about it.
I'm not pleased out of some sense of responsibility or necessity. It's just depressing not being able to have a conversation with someone living in the same house.
You do not understand me at all. As I said on that first day, my curse will one day kill you.
But I'm still alive, aren't I?
You are welcome to believe I'm lying, or that I'm merely out of my mind. But it will be too late by the time you realize the truth.
I'll be fine, I'm sure. And even if I do die because of your curse, I promise I won't hold a grudge. Could you possibly be keeping away from me out of concern?
No. Simply have no interest in interacting with anyone.
I would like to interact with you. If you don't mind, that is.
As I told you, you have nothing to gain from that. I have nothing, not even words to give you. My body is but a shell, even if I were not cursed. Oh, you've missed a lot? Let me see. Were you there? I think you were there for chapter 2. Were you there for chapter 3 as well? Like, chapter 3 was the one where they had where it kind of took place, and there was lots of swing music, and there was a guy... Oh! Oh yeah, that was a while back. Okay, so I guess just to do a very brief recap, we had Chapter 1 was the sister that went mad, and then if it was forbidden love, and then the brother found out. He's like, I can't, like, sister, you're crazy. I don't love you, I love this girl, that's weird. And then the sister was like, no, you're weird. That girl's your sister too. And he was like, oh shit. And then it ended in tragedy, because then he can't love that girl either. And yeah. Poor dude just made the wrong choice and without realizing that he was related to that person. A second chapter was about this beast that kind of settled in a mansion and was murdering the people on the seaside. And basically, yeah, he was murdering the people on the seaside, and then the white-haired girl wandered in. This was like 100 years later. She wandered in and was basically like, you're not a beast, but I'm gonna stay with you. I guess, yeah, brief recap. And then we also see this other girl's perspective, who's like trying to look for her husband the entire time because he went missing in a shipwreck. And so it's kind of completely disconnected from that part of the chapter, but it randomly goes over to that girl's perspective instead of the beast's perspective. And that girl just goes to the town where the beast is at, searching for her husband. Meanwhile, the beast stops murdering people because he kind of falls in love with the white-haired girl. Kind of. He doesn't really fall in love with her, but she's like a reason for him to be human. And then he also murders something, like a beast breaks into the house and he murders the beast. But he doesn't mean to murder it, just he thought it was a danger, but he killed it, and then he kind of fell back into his patterns of being a beast. And then we switch back to the girl's perspective, trying to look for her husband, and she goes to to that mansion where the white-haired girl and the beast are. And then it turns out it's not the beast, it's her husband who's just gone mad and thinks he's a beast and doesn't remember anything at all. And then and then we find out that was actually from earlier, and that the beast that the beast murdered was actually the girl whose like perspective we had been seeing as like an alternate thing the entire chapter. And then basically the village comes in to try to murder him, like to try to kill him after, because he's been killing the whole village, and then he murders the entire rest of the village. True story. Yep. That was tragic. That was chapter 2. Chapter 3 was in the 1800s. And also the white-haired girl is in every single chapter, and we have never learned her name until now. But it seems weird, because whenever her name is supposed to come up, it always gets X'd out. And now that I'm going through this, if you scroll like up, anytime her name is mentioned, her name is still X'd out, which is super weird. But so is his name. His name is X'd out too. He said it here, and we don't see it in the logs. Although you see it in the game, which is it's a bizarre thing. It's another Lumi. No, please, no more Lumies. I will fully brand to Remy. I'm gonna be called Remy from now on, and like I'm about to just drop Lumi entirely. There are too many Lumies out there. Yeah, chapter 3 was in Reminoki. I'll just fully swap to just Remy Noir. Chapter 3. Oh, in between chapter 2 and 3, we actually saw this Mitchell guy. This man here, we briefly saw him, and then there was like a girl that wandered in through the door. And like basically he's like, and I don't remember if it was already Gazelle. It might already have been the white-haired girl, but I don't remember whether that was her name or something else. I know, that's what I thought. For like a chapter, I was thinking that that Mitchell and the white-haired girl were just the same person, because it seems to me like the white-haired girl is just reincarnating every single like 100 years and coming back to the mansion. And then he was saying that he's the witch of the house. So then I was really confused. But yeah, that was after chapter 2. Then chapter 3 happened, and the white-haired girl was already in the mansion. Yeah, the candle positioning. Yeah, the white-haired girl was already in the mansion, and then it looks photoshopped on. Um, but yeah, basically, the, yeah, chapter 3 was in the 1800s, and it was kind of in a more innovative era, and it was taking place in, like, the Americas, kind of, like, during, when they were building, like, the master of the house then was trying to build railroads, and, like, he and the white-haired girl were already married, but he was, like, very, very cold to her, and somewhat abusive. Yeah, it was the Industrial Revolution, and that was, like, what that guy was about. He was kind of a jerk, but he was also building the railroads. And basically, they were constantly, like, they were in, like, not a very good marriage, like, him and the white-haired girl, because he was really abusive towards her. But she had kind of a friend that was one of the maids that she would tell everything to. And the maid would be like, oh, okay, I'll go talk to him and try to sort it out. And it just kept getting worse and worse, and then the white-haired girl got locked into a room. Like, basically, he took her, and he locked her in a shed, and just, basically, she couldn't leave for months. And she kept getting the maid to try to talk to him, and nothing ever got better. And then we learned that the reason nothing got better is because the maid was a complete snake bitch. And the maid had been telling her, like, the entire time, like, the white-haired girl was trying to write letters to him every single time, and the maid was supposed to pass them to him. And every single time the maid passed it to him, she cut off the part of the letter that said it was from the white-haired girl. And so, she cut off the part of the letter that said it was to him, and then just basically wrote in different guys' names at the top of the letters. And so the guy thought that the white-haired girl was just trying to reach out to various men and cheat on him. Meanwhile, the master of the house was also, like, wanting to sort things out with the white-haired girl. He actually loved the white-haired girl. Like, he actually did love her, and he didn't understand why she was trying to, like, cheat on him, even though he was a jerk, but he didn't understand. And so he was telling the maid to go to the white-haired girl and try to, like, get her to, like, not do that. And meanwhile, the maid's like, he's just abusive, you should leave the marriage, it's not good for you. And so neither of them, for months, talked to each other while this maid was just feeding them poison back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, until eventually, as the railroad was getting completed, the white-haired girl managed to, like, the maid left the door open, and then the white-haired girl, like, escaped, but she was also dying because out of malnourishment. And just, like, she'd gone insane from just being alone in this shed for ages with nothing else. And yeah, then, and the man, basically the man had resolved that exact same day. He was planning to go to the white-haired girl and tell her, like, him to, like, come with him to the railroad, and that would be, like, the last chance for her to like, come with him and like, kind of get it resolved, because he wanted to finally talk to her. And he went to the door, and he saw that it was open, and he's like, well, this makes no sense, because when she had written this, like, I was going to, like, why is it the same night? And apparently, like, the maid had actually manipulated the time that he was supposed to leave, too. And so it was the wrong day. But the white-haired girl had actually left, like, a couple days before that. And so... And then he went to go find the maid, and then the maid tried to shoot him, but then he shot her instead, and then she died. And the maid and him were childhood friends, so he had no idea why the maid was such a bitch. But then the maid was saying, oh, it's because you and your family, like, your father murdered my family, and so I'm getting revenge on you, and I also hated that I had to be a maid this entire time instead of being your boss. And yeah, so the maid died. And then the guy didn't get to try looking for the white-haired girl for the entire rest of his life, and then he died alone. Yep, that was chapter 3. And now, after we came out of that, we met a man in a painting, and the man in the painting was like, I don't know who I am, and I don't know who you are, but here's this thing that might help you. Oh, and also, the maid disappeared for a while, so we wandered around the house, and that's why we found the man in the painting. And then, this last door that we came up to, we have been told by the maid, and I think by the man in the painting, that our memories are actually behind this door. So if we, all of like the secrets of the house and what's going on in the house, as well as our own memories that we can't remember, should be resolved in like this chapter. So, and then Mitchell showed up here. And this takes place, the first 3 chapters were in the 1600s, and then the 1700s, and then the 1800s. This is in the Middle Ages, so this is what starts the curse. Or at least not what starts the curse, but it's the start of, like, the story, kind of. So, we're finding out a lot of things this chapter. Sorry for the long spiel, but that's basically what you missed. And basically, the white-haired girl wandered in here and just met this guy who we saw from after chapter 2. And he's just, like, saying, if you stick by, like, my curse is gonna kill you. Yeah. They've just basically all been just tragic stories that have just ended badly in different ways. I have nothing. Not even words to give you. My body's but a shell. Even if I were not cursed, my presence would do naught but cause you discomfort. Yeah. I feel like 2 out of 3 of these, 3 out of 3 of them have had like kind of tragic loves having to do with like the white-haired girl. But particularly the first and the third one were just like really unfortunate, like Romeo and Juliet type things here. And I feel like Mitchell is about to have the same thing happen with the white-haired girl. Although I'm a little bit weirded out by this one because it says the white-haired girl is younger in this one. I don't know how old this guy's supposed to be.
I don't think that's true. I don't believe that there's anyone in this world with absolutely nothing. There's plenty inside you. You simply haven't noticed it yet. And not all of it will only cause others pain either.
If you truly believe those words, then you are a foolhardy girl. How could you trust someone you only just met? For that matter, how do you not resent everyone?
Resent them?
I can take a guess as to why people call you a witch, and why you had to flee all the way to this mansion. Is your hair and eyes? Yep, your white hair and red eyes. That abnormal, seemingly inhuman appearance drew their condemnation. And I can think of any number of reasons they might have started treating you less than human. Perhaps people around you experienced misfortune, or perhaps there was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague. Some kind of external phenomenon, and you were their scapegoat.
Yes, you are, by and large, correct.
And that would make me as unworthy of your trust as anyone else. I make no claim to having your interests in mind. Goodbye.
If you don't mind, could you teach me how to read sometime?
You listen to anything I said.
I listened, yes. I have no intention of idolizing you. I don't expect you to do anything for me, and I don't wish to burden you in any way. I simply wish to be allowed to be at your side. It does not matter to me what kind of person you may be. That is all I want. I apologize for keeping you. Please consider it if it's not too much trouble.
As the master of the house, Mitchell made his way out of the library. He appeared to be slightly rattled. Perhaps the white-haired girl's determination had ignited something in his chained heart. But perhaps it was something else. She stared toward the darkness into which Mitchell had disappeared. Then she carefully wrapped her arms around the jade-embossed tome, a soft smile spreading across her lips.
He's a decent man. I'm sure of it. We're alike, he and I.
And thus began to blossom within her a faint sense of fellowship, as someone who can't read the line. Fuck. Oh, come back! No! What did it say? What did it say? Why? Why? What did it say? who shared that feeling of those feelings of solitude. Okay, as someone who also knew solitude. Okay, thank you, Mochi, and thank you, Backlog. Oh my god. I didn't mean to continue. Cry. This is fine.
It had been about a week since the white-haired girl had taken up residence in the mansion. Staying in that house deprived of light was, I imagine, a very claustrophobic experience. To anyone blessed enough to have had sunlight as a part of their everyday lives, it would have been unbearable. But for her, the mansion, with its prison walls and lack of either illumination or recreation, was the one place she could find respite. She and Mitchell continued to be distant, however. He spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had explicitly told the white-haired girl to stay out of, leaving her unable to close that gap. Nonetheless, on the occasions they did cross paths in the hallway, their eyes would meet, if but briefly. It was never for more than a few seconds. Whenever she saw him, she made a point of giving him a little smile. He never said anything, but still, when she had first arrived, he would not have even met her gaze. He seemed to be taking more and more notice of her.
No, it's okay, Mochi. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. One day, the white-haired girl stood in the cellar, a frown on her face. Well, this is troubling. I can't go down to the village, but we don't do something soon. The cellar was where their food was stored, an assortment of non-perishables and dried foods, smoked meats and cheeses. Her daily meals were taken from the supplies there. However, the stockpile was beginning to grow quite small. Were she not on the run, she could have gone to the village to procure more. Or perhaps, were she a little tougher, she could have captured a wild animal for its meat. But master, you know a young, delicate thing like her was hardly up to the task of hunting for food. How does he normally get his supplies, I wonder? From there, other questions about Mitchell started arising in her mind. No matter how lifeless he seemed, surely he still had to eat, right? The white-haired girl nodded, then made her way out of the cellar, intending to head for his bedchamber.
He's just hoarding all of his food up there, you know? Or that he's immortal and just never eats.
But on her way there, she spotted him standing by the entrance, staring motionless at the door, lit by a single candle.
He's got a mini fridge and he's just not sharing with her.
He appeared to be waiting for something. May I ask you a question?
Go on.
I was just down in the cellar, and I noticed we were running low on food. Do you normally go down to the village to restock?
I haven't been outside in 10 years.
Then how do you...
What if I told you I don't eat?
What?
That I am not of this world, and as such I have no need of sustenance. What would you think of that?
That sounds very, economical?
Yep, he's just cursed. He's just cursed, and that's just it. He doesn't get to eat, he doesn't get to go outside. He's just in the dark, just waiting for oblivion or something, I don't know.
If you can survive without having to eat, that's one less thing to worry about. If it were possible, I'd like to have that ability too.
It would seem trying to frighten you is a waste of time.
Was I supposed to be afraid?
Never mind. It doesn't matter. You asked about the food in the cellar. It's getting to be about that time.
Huh?
Yeah. Let me try going outside. It spawns back in the house. It's still really dark. All you're allowed to have for the rest of eternity is just candles. Just one candle. That's it. Not even in the house, just one. If you try to light more than one, the entire house can't go, like, all the candles go out. Is that Mitchell's situation? Wait, and you will find out.
What do you...
It's here.
Oh?
If you want to know where my supplies come from, open the door.
But, I'm in hiding.
There's no one at the door anymore. The knock is nothing more than a signal.
A signal?
The white-haired girl turned toward Mitchell to press him for more information, but he averted his gaze. Find the answer yourself, he seemed to be saying. She took several moments to gather her will, then marched over to the door. Damn, she slammed that thing! She, like, swung it open. Oh my god.
So bright.
The sunlight, which she had not seen in some time, was so bright it seemed to burn her eyes. Although the sun itself had not gotten any brighter, she had simply spent so much time in the dark her eyes were no longer accustomed to that much light. The color of her eyes made them quite sensitive to light already, so when she stepped outside, her whole world went bone white. The white-haired girl stood motionless for 10, perhaps 15 seconds, and when her eyes finally adjusted to the light...
What's this?
She noticed a crate on the ground at her feet. She turned her head back to ask Mitchell about the box, but the mansion was so dark it appeared to be wholly severed from the outside world. From where she stood, she was unable to distinguish Mitchell from the shadows. A pang of nervousness struck her. She wanted to return to that darkness as quickly as possible. The white-haired girl had come to yearn for that world without light with more than the one with. The crate was fairly hefty. The slightly built girl had considerable difficulty bringing it into the house. But eventually, she did manage to drag it through the front door. She's still slamming shit, oh my god. Gazelle. I guess that's her name this era. I don't know if that's her name every era, but at least this time it's Gazelle. And then, everything went dark once more, except for the faint flicker of candlelight floating in the air. You can leave it there. I'll take care of the rest.
What's...
Without a word, Mitchell approached her in the box, withdrawing a knife that he had evidently kept hidden somewhere on his person. With it, he cut through the rope that bound the box. Go on. Open it up. At his insistence, she placed her hand upon the lid. She had no idea what lay inside of this unexpected delivery. Whoever had brought it had already long gone. Staring at the strange box, she was racked with nervousness. However, what she found when she pushed aside the lid was completely ordinary food. Something amusing.
It was just rather anticlimactic. Here I was worried about what might be inside.
We were just talking about the supplies in the cellar.
So we were. It completely slipped my mind. This should last us for some time. It's all preserved, just like what's in the cellar. But I don't understand. Who would deliver all of this to you?
There should be a book in there as well. Oh, it's from his family?
What? Oh, there it is. In the library, he said that his family sends him one book a month. Does that mean this box came from them? If so, then why did the person who delivered this leave without speaking to him? What happened between him and his family? Is he here because they want him here? Or because he chose to be here?
Take the book to the library, please. I'll bring the rest of the supplies to the cellar.
But it's a big box. I'm sure you could use some help carrying it.
That won't be necessary. Take the book and go.
But...
Fine, then stay here. I'll take care of everything.
Wait! Hold on, please!
What is it?
You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. And, I'm not trying to pry, but I can't help but be curious.
Say what you have to say, please.
I was wondering if you could tell me why you live here in this mansion. Why did whoever delivered this box leave before you even opened the door? Could you perhaps be imprisoned here?
I told you this the very first day. I am cursed. It's only natural for a cursed man to live in a cursed house.
Yes, but that's such a vague answer. I don't understand why you're in the situation you are. I don't know how you feel about it. There's so much I don't know. And I'm not even sure if your curse actually exists.
I see. That is a perfectly reasonable doubt from your point of view. Having been branded a witch because of your appearance, it would make sense that you would think my curse might be fabricated, or perhaps a metaphor for something else. Alright then, come with me.
What?
I'll show you my curse. As he turned on his heels, the white-haired girl caught a glimpse of what appeared to be a smirk on his face, like the whole thing was some kind of sick joke. Are you gonna find out? That smile carved into his mask was far colder than any look of annoyance or rejection. But despite the twinge of nervousness, she still followed after Mitchell. As much as he might have stood out in a crowd with such height and long hair, his presence was almost entirely eroded away by the darkness. She felt that he could simply fade away into nothingness at any moment. Coffee. Many things are buried here.
Huh?
Mice, insects, wild cats, and dogs. Have you ever thought it's strange how little life there seemed to be around this mansion?
You're right. I haven't seen a single creature since I arrived. The only sound you can hear is the wind blowing. Now that you mention it, it did seem peculiar.
They were all killed by me. Or rather, they lost their lives because of me. You have your answer now. A butterfly flooded its way into the ruined garden, dancing up and down through the air. Mitchell held out a finger before himself, and the butterfly, mistaking it for a branch, drifted upon it to rest its wings. Had the scene stopped there, it would have been a picturesque moment. All that comes in contact with me loses its life. My skin, the breath I exhale, my flesh and blood, is poison to all life. But the butterfly's movements began to slow. It spread its wings in one last futile attempt to fight gravity, and then, without warning, it shriveled up into a dry husk.
It's dead. All dried up and lifeless. Like it's been dead for days. It's like his finger drained all the life out of it. Is this his curse? Is that even possible? But I saw it with my own eyes. This is his curse, though. It explains much.
There are more than just insect and animal corpses buried here too. Servants who came to visit me long ago are here. Oh. Oh damn, this is X'd up too. Oh my god, all of this is X'd out. This is so weird. And I'm sure this is intentional, because this is not the first time it's done this sort of thing, but it's weird that it would only be in the backlog. Wow. I wonder if they're gonna explain that in the backlog.
Are here, beneath the ground? Under our very feet. That's why the servant leaves before I open the door. Should he touch me, should he get near me, his very life is in danger. No one is interested enough in seeing me to take that risk. No one will have anything to do with me. Nary a soul even wishes to see my face. Now you understand what I meant when I said I would eventually kill you. So that's why you've never once touched me. When I knocked the books down in the library, you didn't offer your hand to help me up. And only one of us ever made contact with the box at the entrance at a time. When I offered to help you carry it, you refused. Because you didn't want your finger to accidentally brush against mine. My actions were not out of concern for you. I simply dislike people. Others' interests mean nothing to me. What an odd face you're making. Do you not believe my curse is real? No, I do. It's certainly irrational, inexplicable, unbelievable. But you show me more than enough evidence. And I don't believe you're lying to me right now either. In which case, you now understand how dangerous it is to be near me. You said that if you left, you would be killed. But it's been some time since then. If you're careful to cover your tracks, you can make your escape. You do not belong here. He was telling the truth about being cursed. What a cruel burden to have to bear. I can't imagine just how much he's given up on. How many lives he's inadvertently taken. And how he must have felt every time it happened. How much pain that loneliness must have given him. How much despair he must carry in his heart. How much sorrow must be weighing down on him. So, no. I will not leave. I will stay here with you.
Still a better love story than Twilight. Hey Connor, how's it going? Oh my god. If he touches her, she die. Oh my god. Hope you're doing okay, Connor. We did it. We got you the clear yesterday. Woohoo. I need like one of those little party poppers. But she loves him. We did it. We did it. Where my confetti? Did I buy confetti? Did I buy like a confetti? I thought I bought some asset. I bought an asset a while ago and I already forgot what the asset I bought is. I should really track that stuff better. What did I buy? What did I buy? You know what? It would be in my... I don't know where it would be. I bought some stuff. I don't know where it went. I'll have to find it later. But confetti! Imagine confetti everywhere on my screen. Woohoo! Look at that! Wee! Celebration! We did it! But yeah, I think at this point, she's like, he's a bit handsome. But then she's not like fully in there yet. She's like, if he touches me, he could kill me. That's pretty hot, not gonna lie. Oh no, she's into it. Seems like she's into it. She likes a little bit of danger. What, you mean I'll die if you touch me? Joke's on you, I'm into that.
Leave this place. No, I will not. Why? Why do you insist on remaining in this house after learning what I can do? You have no reason to stay. Tell me then, why do you try to drive me out? If you don't care for others as you say, if you're not concerned about anyone else, then what does it matter what I do? What does it matter if I die to your curse?
I'm sorry if I'm using weird voices. At this point, I established these voices, like the voice for the white-haired girl in Chapter 1 when I needed a really different voice from the sister who was super high energy. And so I wanted a low energy voice, and now for the last, like, 4 I didn't realize she would be a long-term character, So for the last, like, 4 chapters, I've had to speak like this every time because this is what I established in chapter 1. Damn it! But to be fair, it's probably... I think it's fitting. She seems very timid. She's been very timid every time, so... She's timid, but she's into that. She stayed when it was, like, Beauty and the Beast, too. Like, that dude was straight up, like frothing at the mouth, and she's like, damn, I love Monster. I love Monster.
You're a very kind-hearted man. You've been watching out for me since the day I arrived, doing whatever you can not to inadvertently kill me, to not afflict me with your curse.
No.
Here's what I think. No one capable of showing genuine care for others can honestly, truly dislike all people. They can't possibly be indifferent.
No.
That day we met before the stained glass window, you heard me out, you listened to my plight. You didn't try to chase me out. That day, I thought you to be a good person, and I still believe that.
I simply assumed you would leave on your own when it was safe. I never thought you would be so foolish as to want to stay in a house like this with a man like me.
How does that make me foolish?
Do you not value your life? Are you not afraid of death? Do you not find me unpleasant?
The thing I fear most is loneliness. You're probably right that by now I could safely sneak away, get myself somewhere far from here. But even if I did, I would inevitably find myself in the same situation. The only way I can avoid that fate is to stay away from everyone, to live in solitude with no one to talk to. I know you understand how that feels.
Particularly because he also has white hair and red eyes. And this just hasn't been mentioned yet, that he's got like the same... Well, to be fair, I don't think she's ever seen him, because he's just always just in the dark, just not visible, with a tiny candle just lighting him up like he's telling some sort of horror story. I'm Mitchell. You must get away before I murder you.
I know you understand how that feels. It terrifies me. I'm afraid of having to spend day after day with no one to talk to, no one to share my experiences, my thoughts, my feelings with. That's what awaits me out there. Then I want to live with you. I want you to be an essential part of my life.
Impossible.
Please, don't chase me out.
You are a cruel girl. Never again will I allow myself to get close to someone, only to watch them die. Never again. My mother was the first to die. It happened shortly after my birth. Next was my wet nurse. 2 deaths could be considered a coincidence. But as the number rose, it became clear that I was cursed, and I was forbidden from making contact with anyone, even at home. Regardless, being in the same house, accidents will happen. Numerous people lost their lives. Attendants unfamiliar with me, or those who simply brushed up against me by mistake. Couldn't take it any longer.
So you chose to move here, to this
Oh my god.
To this remote mansion to keep yourself away from your family. You weren't imprisoned here. You elected to live alone so you wouldn't hurt anyone.
Or Mitchell. For better or worse, I was born into a noble house. So rather than abandon me, they've provided me the means to live out of sight.
I will be very careful. I will do everything I can to ensure no accidents occur.
You know, this would be a lot easier for them to ensure no accidents occur if they weren't stumbling around in the dark using a single candle every day, all day.
To keep you from being alone again, I will not for any reason touch you. You have my promise. Your curse takes the life of anything you touch. I've been here for a while and death has not befallen me yet. As long as I do not touch you, there shouldn't be any problem. Also, and, I apologize if this is simply me reading too much into things, but I feel like we're two of a kind. I fear being utterly alone more than anything. And I think you understand just how scary that is. So,
why are you so stubbornly insistent on it being me? I'm sure there's someone else out there. Someone you're meant to be with. You may not have found them yet, but I believe someone like you eventually will. Because unlike me, you still have the vigor to press forward.
It has to be you, I'm certain of it.
Why?
Because, well,
You can't tell me?
No, I can't just... Please don't get upset with me.
Huh?
I think...
What? Spit it out! You've known him for a week! White hair Gazelle! Your name is Gazelle. I don't know why it hasn't changed off of White Hair Girl, but you have known this man for a week! Dude!
I might really, really love you.
I can fix him. He accidentally murders anything he touches, but I can fix him. Yeah, they really do be that way. His was a power that evoked images of witches or demons, the unclean and the impure. A mere touch was all it took for him to strip man and beast alike of his life. God has quite a cruel streak to bestow such a power upon such a beautiful young man, and a strange power it was indeed, like something out of a fairy tale. Like something confined to the words upon the page, it seemed otherworldly, unbelievable. Nonetheless, he had demonstrated to the white-haired girl his peculiar powers were indeed real. That said, the world has its fair share of oddities. It just so happens that those curiosities tend to remain hidden away, known only to a few. Although you have laid your eyes upon a number of unusual phenomena yourself, Master. The doors to the past through which we have passed. This very mansion. As a matter of fact, the two of us. Now, as you just saw, the white-haired girl found herself enraptured with this man and his accursed power. How do you think Mitchell acted in response to her proclamation? He had spent so long refusing to interact with others. No, unable to interact with them. As such, he was unsure how to respond. After standing there expressionless for a few moments, he muttered, "I'll consider it." And with that, he returned to his chambers. While he was not someone who wore his heart on his sleeve, I personally do not believe he was completely devoid of emotions. He had simply forgotten how to express them in his extended solitude. So I think he was, in that moment, in a state of complete panic. She had, after all, just assaulted him with a stream of incomprehensible declarations. That, knowing the truth, she still wished to remain in the mansion, and that, knowing the truth, she loved him. The love she had declared for Mitchell was not a fleeting puppy love. There was genuine tenderness and warmth to her words. What might I repeat, once again? They have known each other for a week. 1 week. 1 week. 1. But it's genuine. It's not fleeting. Baby, I'm into it. But he had gone through his life shunned, feared, and pushed away. To him, that was normal. He had never given anyone reason to have any fondness for him, so he found himself utterly unsure of how to take the affection she was showing. Of course, he was not the only one rattled by the whole affair. Where's the maid? uncomfortable noises. Questionably better story than Twilight. I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I guess it's the Romeo and Juliet type trope thing where they're like, I mean, Romeo and Juliet, they only knew each other for 1 week, and they literally suicided for one another when each other died. With like, once again, 1 week. People are a little hasty with their love. Like, there's more than one person for you out in the world. It's okay. Also, what happened to taking it slow? Fiction is weird, man.
Oh dear. Several days had passed since Mitchell had asked for some time to think. He had still yet to show himself again. Is this all my fault? The white-haired girl paced anxiously through the halls on the off chance she might run into him. As per his request, though, she kept her distance from his chambers. Nevertheless, she was beginning to worry about the fact that he had secluded himself away for so long. As she worked up her courage and made her way to his room... Well, so she worked up her courage and made her way to his room. What if he doesn't want to see me ever again? I didn't consider I might be overstepping my bounds before opening my mouth. Every step she took was slow and laborious. Her mind raced with worry and doubt. I should at least tell him I'm sorry. Rather than out of a desire to know how he felt, she was compelled by a guilt and a desire to apologize. After walking for some time, she arrived at a door sitting in an utterly unlit hallway. She drew in a breath of musty air, and let it out, repeating the process several times. Next, she reached her hand up to knock on the door, then pulled it back, also doing this a number of times. Oh, how adorable she was! I wanted nothing more than to give her a little nudge. After all, she was too sweet a girl for her worries to be anything but misplaced. I just can't find the courage. Maybe I should come back another day. But what's the point of waiting? I need to apologize and get the weight off his back now. She gathered her courage once more, this time determined she would do it. Do it. The white-haired girl moved her small fist toward the door, which then swung open, and then she touched him and died. I'm sorry. Please, you must announce your presence. I almost walked right into you. Are you in that much of a hurry for a mishap? I'm sorry. And I believe I told you to stay away from my chambers. You did, so I spent a long time debating whether I would, but I decided I really want to tell you this. Oh, well, actually, I'm truly sorry. What? The other day, I could barely manage to get the words in my head all the way to my mouth. There was no room in my mind for anything else. I shoved my own thoughts and feelings into your face, not considering that might not be what you wanted. Just running non-stop, not thinking at all. I was terribly disrespectful to you, completely selfish. You're a kind-hearted man, I truly believe that. But you are only being courteous because you're a nice man. I'm sure you have little interest in the affections of a queer little girl. So... I would love it if I could stay here. It would be a wonderful blessing. But if you really don't want me here, if my feelings are imposing upon you, then I apologize. I'm sorry, and I'll take my leave of this house.
That's awkward.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. My mind went blank for a moment.
What?
I find it difficult to comprehend you. The other day, you were firm in your intentions to stay, and now you'll say you'll leave without a struggle.
You hold yourself in your room for so long that I thought, you didn't want me around. To be honest, I want to stay here. I do.
I think that you should do whatever pleases you.
Huh?
You can stay or you can leave. I'll not pressure you to do one or the other.
So, I'm not imposing?
To tell you the truth, I had to think about that for some time. However, I have now come to something of a solution. Since you're here, come into my room. Oh, she's going in. Is there anything blank in here? Oh, yeah, none of this has anything to do with the curse. I bet you that's why things are X'd out. Anything to do with the curse must be X'd out.
What? But I thought I wasn't allowed to.
To prevent what almost happened a few moments ago. So we don't accidentally run into each other.
Sorry.
You're forgiven. Now come in.
Okay. Is this a necklace?
If that's what it looks like to you, then I suppose it means I succeeded. Oh, he made her a necklace? Did he make her that? Pick it up.
Has a little bell. It's adorable.
Please make an effort to wear that while you're in the house. As it's so dark, there will always exist the risk that we might accidentally bump into one another. So I tried to come up with a way to reduce that risk. That's actually really cute. Aww. He's totally gonna run into her. It's inevitable. That's the end of this tragic story. She just dies because he accidentally freaking clips through her. Freaking no scopes her with a brush of the wrist.
Does that mean you didn't leave your room because you were working on this?
That's right. What other reason would I have?
I think most people would assume it was because they'd put you in a bad mood or that you didn't want to see them.
I have little sense of how most people see the world.
Sorry. I appreciate it though. I'm really glad to know that you put so much thought into a life together with me.
It would be difficult not to after the other day.
I'm so happy right now. I can't think of any better word to describe it. I couldn't be happier.
You're being dramatic. To tell you the truth, I feel a little bad about it.
Why?
Seems rather impertinent to fix a bell to someone. You're not livestock, you're a person.
That's why you turned it into a necklace? Thank you very much. Keep it on me at all times. I really, truly appreciate it, Lord Mitchell.
Don't call me Lord, please.
Alright then, I'll just call you Mitchell. And will you please call me Gazelle?
The windows.
What?
If we could open the windows. Never mind. I was just thinking you wouldn't need the bell at all if we could get some light in here.
They can't be opened?
They're rusted shut. All the windows have been shuttered for as long as I've been here.
I assumed you had boarded them all up.
That was done long before I ever arrived. After so many years here, though, I hardly consider it an inconvenience anymore. It also serves to repel wanderers.
Oh, really?
Is there something odd about that?
No. It's just, I realized I had the wrong impression about a number of things. As I learn more, I see things in a different light. I see you in a different light. And I'm sure there's still plenty more for me to learn.
Of all the people I've ever met, you are perhaps the most difficult to predict. Not only do you have no aversion to the darkness,
The dark has always been a close friend of mine. Which isn't to say I dislike the sun, light can simply be a bit too strong for me. I'm like some kind of unholy monster that can't be exposed to sunlight.
You are anything but unholy. My name would suit you. Much better than me. was happening there. Why did it suddenly go like that? What the fuck? What? Why are there... What are these noises? Why... Huh? Is that just the backing soundtrack? Oh my god! I didn't even see this, but it's in the backlog. Look at that, it's in the backlog! What a beautiful story. Much better than the real thing, is it not, my dear? And that was not shown on the screen at all. That's just in the backlog. What the fuck? And this is just... Whatever this ripping, tearing, sloshing, gross body ripping noises is just the background music. What the fuck? That day when I first saw Gazelle, I was wary of her, apprehensive. I didn't want her anywhere near me. But now I'm gonna keep going to the backlog because, like, I gotta get away from this. Oh god, the noises! As my doubts about her faded, I began feeling something very different. As though the lump in my heart had been melted away. I began to yearn for her to be at my side, knowing full well it couldn't possibly last, knowing full well how foolish it was. I found myself captivated by her. I found myself wishing... What is the glitchy effect? What's going on here? What's up with Mitchell? To have her stay with me. What the fuck? His code broke. What the hell? Ah! What's going on with Mitchell? What is the real thing? Has this all been fake? And then the backlog is telling me it's not fake? Well, the backlog is telling me that this is fake, but this was not shown on the screen at any point. Yeah, it broke the pattern. I don't know. Yeah. Either what was just showed to us was, like, not real, like, not the whole story. Which in a lot of cases, for a lot of these stories, like, I mean, for every single story, we've gotten a part of the story from one person's perspective, and then from another person's perspective, we get the rest of the story. So, like, what's going on with Mitchell's side? Because that was kind of spooky. Why has he got ripping sounds, like body parts are coming off? Something is truly goofed up with this man. And that marked the true beginning of their quiet days together in the dark mansion. They acknowledged and accepted each other's presence, no longer isolating themselves, but actively, regularly conversing. As mundane as it might seem, it was something they had been unable to attain until then. Nevertheless, they were still somewhat fumbling around in the dark with one another, drawing closer and pushing away again. Mitchell, in his own ungraceful way, was beginning to open himself up to the things she said. Is that still... Okay. Man, this is actually kind of freaky. I thought the backlog... I know I keep going back to that, but I thought that would be honest with me about everything that was said, and the fact that the backlog is not being honest is now, like... What is going on? And the white-haired girl was beginning to smile with greater frequency. They had taken to dining together, and her wish of learning to read was being granted. He taught her in the feeble light of a candle placed upon the table, the two sitting across from one another. Though Mitchell seemed to be well educated, he had not been instructed in the art of teaching, so he found the process quite grueling. But to the white-haired girl, the longer it took, the better. Her primary objective was, after all, to spend time with him. The days passed, and eventually she reached a point where her comprehension was adequate enough without assistance. Her next request, then, was for them to read through a book together.
Have you read every book in the library?
No, I stopped looking at them after a while. Most everything I'm sent is dull, uninformative dreck. The Diary of a Lord. Foolish make-believe tales.
You're not fond of fiction, I take it.
What value is there in the lies and fantasies of another?
Stories can be invigorating. The tales of adventure can take you to places you could never go. Legends of heroes, folklore, stories of otherworldly phenomena. They can be terrifying and they can be exhilarating. They might not be real, but they give you a little glimpse into the author's heart. Let you feel like you're seeing the same thing they saw.
You're a very empathetic girl. Fiction inspires nothing of the sort in me. However...
Huh?
Perhaps long ago, it may have been able to, though I can no longer remember what it feels like.
I'm sure it'll come back to you. You're not an empty man. Sorry. I'm making you uncomfortable again. How about we read this book today?
It appears to be a collection of legends.
You haven't read this one yet, then? That's good to hear. It'll be more enjoyable if it's a new experience for the both of us. It looks like it's a record of local legends?
The book is divided into several sections, though it appears to be mostly superstitions.
I am curious about... what stories this area has.
The two of them were looking down at a simple, undecorated volume. As the white-haired girl had said, it seemed to be a collection of local legends passed down generation to generation. They sat across from one another at the table, her turning the pages and Mitchell simply watching so as not to brush against her. Eventually, her eyes were drawn to a particular word on one of the pages, bringing her hands to a stop.
The witch.
The chapter detailed the story of a witch. Or more precisely, said witch's curse. The story went something like this. There once was a witch skilled in the dark arts. She lived a meager but peaceful life alongside the other villagers. But then a long, long drought struck the village, which the people blamed on the witch. The witch was sentenced to death, and as the fire blazed around her, smoke rose high into the air. The smoke soon became rain clouds, blessing the village with an end to the drought. The crops were revitalized, and the villagers fancied themselves heroes. However, the rain also brought madness upon the people. Though the earth below them was lush and fertile, the villagers were losing their minds, and they eventually began to take each other's lives. The witch still lived on, in the form of a curse. Many fell victim to the witch's curse. But it did not only take, it also fulfilled people's desires. The villagers had gone mad, but their wish for freedom from the drought had been granted. Thus the legend has been passed down as follows. The witch will grant your wish in exchange for great sacrifice. As smoke in the sky, she watches down upon us from above. To reach the witch, climb for the heavens, but know that the road is a road to destruction.
People still believe the witch's legend even now, I suppose. And that's why I
face accusations of being a witch. This is not an area very welcoming to outsiders, especially to one who stands out so much as you. What brought you to this region in the first place?
Mine is a story I'm sure you've heard before. I was cast out of my house. I come from a very poor family. We could barely even afford to keep everyone fed. Being as weak as I am, it was only natural that I would be the first to go.
I see.
What I don't understand, though, is why the witch is said to grant people's wishes. That is to say, she had reason enough to hold a grudge, but not to give people things they asked for.
All we have to go on is a few pages. There's no saying what might have changed or added over time. What might have been changed or added over time, and it's almost certain the entire legend isn't written here. That said, if we are to accept everything as written, You can infer that the witch's witch's reason might have been.
And that is...
You truly want it that much. You can have it, but I'll make sure your suffering outweighs it. Despair that comes after a moment of happiness is far more agonizing than despair alone. I presume that is why the witch decided to grant people's wishes.
That is... one way to look at it. May I ask you something?
Go on.
When I first arrived here, you told me that a cursed witch used to live in this mansion. After reading this legend, I'm now finding it hard to believe you made that up simply to scare me away.
I appropriated the tale, nothing more. It said that the witch was born in this house.
What?
Quite the place my family found for me. But it was a clever decision putting me here, I think. Not many people are likely to come near a house with such a pedigree.
But... no, never mind. That makes sense.
I suspect I know what she was going to say then. If the witch is said to grant wishes, then wouldn't that also attract people who so desperately want something? They do not care what price they must pay. And perhaps she was correct. Perhaps there had been those who had come to the mansion chasing after the legend, and perhaps they had encountered Mitchell, touched him, and lost their lives. On that day in the garden, he had said, "Many things are buried here." Perhaps that included such visitors.
I wonder... that story might be more than than mere superstition.
If the Witch of Legend really did exist, what would you do?
It might be nice to talk to her, maybe.
That's all, really?
I feel a little bad for her, though. The only people who ever visit her are there to ask for something after all. I can only imagine just how lonely that must be.
I swear I cannot comprehend the way your mind works.
Sorry.
Although, we assume the legend is true. I have an idea what climb for the heavens might mean.
Oh?
The mansion has an observation tower. Or I suppose, what used to be an observation tower. At any rate, it's quite a tall structure. This is the house where the witch was supposedly born. A tower reaching for the heavens seems like the perfect place to find her, if she really is here.
Oh, yes. I remember seeing a rather tall structure as I first approached the mansion.
Would you like to see it?
Of course. Please, lead the way.
The two of them left the library and made their way to the room with the stained glass window. At the far end of the room were the stairs to the observation tower. The tale of the witch had piqued the white-haired girl's interest, inspiring her to put herself forward to satisfy that curiosity. She had, after all, been accused of being a witch herself, so she undoubtedly felt an affinity to the legend. What a sweet girl she was. Concern? With Mitchell in the lead, the two climbed a long spiral staircase. This is where we entered into this door. This door was at the top of the observation tower. So this is probably really important. With Mitchell in the lead, the two climbed a long spiral staircase. There were many more stairs than the white-haired girl had anticipated, and she soon found herself short of breath. Rectangular windows were carved out of the stone in regular intervals. Peering through one of them, she could see a village in the distance. A pleasantly cool, high-altitude breeze brushed against her face. After much climbing, they finally arrived at the top, where a door made of partially rotted wood stood. Mitchell pulled open the door, revealing a small room with no windows or doors in sight.
This is the top of the tower?
Despite it being called an observation tower, you could hardly observe anything from there. Her face contorted in confusion. Oh, thank you, Twyla. I will hydrate. I will get my coffee. Also, hello, how are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. I ran out of coffee. Crap. No, drink more. Thank you. Let me get a fresh bottle of water. Oh, okay. Oh no. Did something happen? I hope. Oh, also, I'll wish you it tomorrow as well, but happy early birthday. Happy birthday. Yeah. I hope whatever's going wrong, if things are not okay, I hope they get better. Yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah, I have it written down on my calendar. So, I knew that, like, your birthday is the last day on the month that, like, the last birthday recorded on the month, and I was like, I'm gonna remember Twyla's birthday. I'm gonna remember. But yeah, I have it physically written down on a calendar in my office, so yeah. I try my best to remember. Yeah, I'm gonna go get my water refilled real quick. Be right back. Alright. I have attained water. Alright. I'll just have to drink extra water, because you have both, and Connor both redeemed it. Thank you! 1 second. Just, I don't know if you can hear it. Hold on, I'm not gonna spill water all over my keyboard, but I have water. That is the squeak of my water bottle. That's how you know I opened it. Yeah. Thank you, guys. It is a lot of reading. No! Did something happen with Diamond? Oh. Oh no! I'm so sorry, Twyla. I'm so sorry. Like, yeah. Like losing a family member like that is just really hard. I'm so sorry. And I'll send out all of my hugs to you as well, okay? If you ever want to talk about anything or anything like that, I'm here, okay? Oh. Yeah. You have like a box for them or anything? So at least she has like a nice place to kind of stay. Wish I had my hug emote here, but just know I'm sending all my hugs, okay? Because I know that stuff is really hard. Like losing a pet is as much as losing a family member too. Oh, I'm glad you have something of hers then. Yeah, That's really hard, and I'm really sorry, Twyla. Because I know you love Diamond. Very much. Mhm. Yeah. If you... Yeah. Like... I think people, like, a lot of people will say, like, oh, it's just a pet or anything, but, like, honestly, I think a lot of people underestimate just how much it hurts. Like, they're just as much family members as anyone else. Like, I had, like, 2 dogs as well that I grew up with, like, for over 10 years, and, like, I was devastated, too, when I lost them. Like, it's no joke, and I'm really sorry. Ugh. Yeah. But yeah, if you ever need to talk or anything, like, or need anybody to hang out with, like, through this, like, I'm here, okay? No, thank you for sending me that update. I appreciate it. Like, honestly, I think, like, maybe we need to catch up or something in general. So, that's okay. We'll keep going here, but I'll keep you, like, I'll definitely keep you in my thoughts for that, okay? Hmm. You see. Yeah. No, you're fine, Twyla. Like, thank you for letting me know. We were doing the observation tower. Yeah, it was super dark so she couldn't see anything. Her face contorted in confusion, the white-haired girl threw her gaze about the room. Glancing up, she saw only a darkened ceiling, and slightly below it, a single small window through which shone a little ray of light. The beam cleaved through the darkness like the sharpened blade of a beautiful sword. The darkness draped over the rest of the room served to make more impressive that solitary ray of light. It had a magical fairy tale quality to it. As if being pulled in by it, she drew toward the light. I suspect there was once a large window in this room. If you look closely, you can see the seams of the stone in the wall. The color of the stone differs slightly on either side of the seams. I presume something caused them to seal off the window after it was built. Though I don't know what that something might be. Oh my god, it's the white-haired girl! We're seeing her for the first time in this era. When Mitchell's eyes fell upon the white-haired girl wrapped in that beam of light, he sputtered to a stop. Is something creepy gonna happen here? The man who never flinched at anything, who had long since distanced himself from such stirrings of the heart, was utterly bewitched. He had never seen her illuminated so vividly before, and he was having a great deal of trouble finding words to describe her striking beauty. For someone who had been chased out of her home and accused of being a witch, the white-haired girl looked less like a practitioner of the dark arts, and more like one of the host of heaven. Mitchell undoubtedly felt the same way, for his gaze was affixed firmly upon her.
Dazzling, isn't it? Like a staircase leading to heaven.
Yes, perhaps so.
Is something the matter?
No, I'm fine.
You know, it feels like there's something odd in the air here. Feels like someone actually might be listening.
If the witch were to speak to you, what would you say to her?
I would ask her to tell me her true feelings. To tell me what kind of a person she was. What kind of pain she had to endure. I just want to know what she felt. This woman people branded as a witch.
The legend was written from a neutral perspective. It's possible she was a fearsome witch. It's also possible she wasn't.
I get the feeling she was just persecuted, like me. Like me and you.
Unlike you, I truly am impure. Disagree all you want, but my touch kills. I'm a strange, incomprehensible, irrational creature. Or maybe I'm not even a living being. And that's why when I touch something, that is, I bring them death.
If only I actually were a witch. If only I actually had some kind of extraordinary power. Regardless of whether it came from God or the devil, then I would be able to grant people's wishes.
My wish need not be granted.
But it's what I want too. I wish to be able to touch you. I would be perfectly content with nothing changing, us never being able to touch one another. I would be more than happy with that. But I'm allowed to dream, aren't I? It doesn't have to be in this life. I pray the day will come that we can get closer, even if it has to happen in another life.
Happiness is very much a stranger to me. But am I? Am I allowed to dream too?
You are.
I will never touch you, I swear it. But I would like to dream about it. I would like to imagine placing my hand upon your cheek.
You can. Reach your hand out for me.
You're gonna die! You're gonna die! Why are you egging him on? Touch me! Kill me! I'm into it! What?
Reach your hand out for me.
She's into it! Look! I'm 2 centimeters from death. Right now. Gazelle's into some shit. She's literally Bella from Twilight. Except it's even worse. At least if Edward touched her, he didn't, Bella didn't just drop to the ground and fucking die, but, this girl is like, your touch kills people. Please, get a centimeter from my face.
I will imagine it too. I'm imagining your fingers running through my hair, brushing up against my skin. I can feel your warmth.
There was a wall between them, a wall they could not cross. Or if they did, it would mean the white-haired girl's death. No matter how much they yearned for it, they could not touch another, so they did within the confines of their imagination. Envisioning it in as much detail as they could manage. Oh dear. This is where the whistle comes in? It was sad, but sweet. A moment that I accidentally clicked past. A moment of pristine, untainted beauty. The two of them emanating serenity. As fitting as the word cursed might have been to the mansion as a whole, at the top of the observation tower, a pure bond was being shared. A fleeting moment between a young man with a cursed touch and a kind-hearted, beautiful girl. The dream did not last long, no, for God is quite cruel. They simply wanted to be together, that was all. Their wish was hardly unreasonable. Only a quiet, peaceful life together. What's gonna go wrong? Beside the obvious? The misfortune was creeping ever nearer, its footsteps growing more and more pronounced. I mean, is the village gonna push her into him and then she's so thirsty? It's like she's so thirsty for a pool of water she can't touch because it's poison. Jesus! Is this the village? The village is just gonna push her into him and then she'll die and then he's gonna blame himself. And then something curse is only gonna get worse and then... I don't know what we have to do with this still. Are we the white-haired girl? Are we Mitchell? I don't know who we are in this. Supposedly our memories are here.
Is someone at the door?
The flow of time was hazy within the mansion's walls. They had little way of telling whether it was night or day, preventing them from knowing exactly how much time had passed. The white-haired girl had made it a habit of climbing the observation tower every so often to see whether the sun was up, which allowed her to approximate the time of day. Consequently, when she heard the knock on the door,
she was not aware of just how deep the night was outside, that forest and beast alike lay quietly at rest. Kinky, I guess. Yeah. All they're doing is just having kinky thoughts, and they're like, this is enough for me. All right. The stores in the cellar are almost exhausted. It must be this month's delivery. Not thinking it was worth bothering Mitchell over, she made her way out of her chambers and headed for the entrance. Girl, no! Girl, stop! There had only been a single knock, leading her to conclude that, as before, the servant had simply left the box outside the door. So without a second thought, she opened the door, and there she saw a strange, vagrant man standing in the moonlight. His clothes were tattered, his bearded face bony and emaciated. She gasped, shrinking back several paces. The heavy door began to swing shut, but the man forced it open, glaring down at her with unfocused eyes and mumbling, "Are you the witch that'll grant people's wishes?" It was in that moment that the white-haired girl realized she had been careless. The man had sought out the mansion because he believed the legend of the witch, and he did not seem particularly right of mind either. Perhaps a result of wandering through the forest for several days, or perhaps it was because he was so beaten down that he thought to ask for a witch's help. In a word, he seemed mad. No. There is no witch here. Sure there is, don't you lie to me. I can hear the witch's voice. She led me to this house. I promise you there isn't. Now please, be on your way. Have you any idea how long it took to find this place? How many days I've gone without food or water? And you're telling me to get lost? I don't know what you want from me. I'm happy to give you a little food, so please. Is there really no witch? There's no witch here. It's nothing but a legend. If she does exist, she doesn't live here. I see. Then that means you're just an ordinary person. Just a person. Just a girl. So there ain't anything you can— Oh, no! 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 Ah! Oh, no! Yeah, Okay. This went very bad. Oh, God. So there ain't anything you can do. No! Get away from me! What are you doing? Why waste time waiting for you to get me a little grub when I can just take it all? I'm starving here. I'm so hungry I could eat human. You're about to commit a grievous sin. Are you not ashamed to act in defiance of God? God? If I believed in God, would I have come begging to a witch? I don't fear him, and I sure as hell don't fear people. Who's gonna show up at a house in the middle of nowhere? Who's gonna call me out? Who's gonna stop me? No one, that's who. No one's gonna stop me, and no one's gonna offer me salvation. There's a thought. You're a woman, so before I kill ye... No! Mitchell, get him! Mitchell, get him! What are you doing? What? There's other people here? The white-haired girl lay pinned on the floor beneath the yelling bandit, pleading for help with her ruby eyes. As soon as Mitchell grasped the situation, he tossed his candlestick aside and leapt for the man. He'd go and kill him. I hope he doesn't accidentally kill her, too. Ugh. The candlestick gave a sharp clang when it hit the floor. The impact extinguished the flame, bringing the mansion to near-perfect darkness. Something glinted in the bandit's hand, and then, without hesitation, he thrust it at Mitchell. Is Mitchell gonna die? Mitchell! How stupid must you be to come at me unarmed? In his hand, the man held a knife, its tip dripping with Mitchell's blood. Red spilled from the gash in his arm, the flow growing heavier with every passing moment. It's just his arm, right? He'll be fine, right? It is the Middle Ages, though. You're the only other person here by the looks of it, eh? Perfect, I'll take you both out. You... What? You don't appear to know whose house you tried to break into. What are you on about? Regret your ignorance to your very last breath. You're messed up in the head, you madman. Hey, stay the hell back. Take one more step in. Oh shit, he reaching. Oh, he's dead. He's hella dead. I inherited the witch's curse. Let go. Mitchell clutched the man's face in one hand. He's getting him with his face? Oh my god. The man raised his knife to strike back, but... What's happening? The strength drained from his fingers, the knife falling to the floor. The man writhed in Mitchell's grip. Me face! I can't breathe! Leave this place immediately, but you won't get far afflicted with my curse. Oh shit! Oh shit! Helpless to fight back, nay, helpless to even consider fighting back, the bandit fled from the mansion in terror. In his wake, only the white-haired girl and a bleeding Mitchell remained. I just saw a man's life drained from him. His face withering away, sucked completely dry. I didn't doubt him, but dear God, that was quite disturbing for you, I'm sure. No, not at all. It's my fault anyway, if I hadn't been so careless. Oh, your arm! We need to get that wrapped up. Please, do not touch me. You mustn't touch me. The wound is hardly fatal. It's all my fault. I'm so sorry. No, a degree of the blame falls on me for saying nothing. Next time someone comes to the door, let me know. I'm sorry. Please, you don't need to apologize. Well... Yes? For once, I'm actually proud of myself. Proud that I could use this terrible ability of mine to do something more than just take life. To protect someone I care about. So, like I said, please don't apologize. Alright, thank you. Mitchell? Huh? I'm glad you're here. I care about you too. Thank you.
Well, I guess... Oh no. I was gonna say, I guess it's over, but I'm guessing something right here is about to fuck us up even more.
Had the flame of Mitchell's candle not gone out when he threw it to the floor, he would have seen a heartfelt smile on the white-haired girl's face, and she would have seen a flush of red and an awkward smile on Mitchell's normally blank face. He might have also seen a little glimmer on her cheek.
No!
Where a few drops of his blood had landed. Alas, they had no light.
Oh my god. We knew this would happen, kind of, but... She's gonna die. She going to die. She's just gonna waste away. Oh my god.
The collapse of their happiness came slowly, gradually. Perhaps it was because she had touched his blood instead of his skin. But the deterioration of the white-haired girl's health crept along at a relaxed pace. The life was not sucked out of her in the blink of an eye as it had been from the bandit. She merely grew progressively less and less healthy. Amidst her physical decay, she was bestowed with one blessing. Her beauty remained untouched. But as far as blessings went, surely there were others she could have been granted. Could God not have picked something a little better for her? By the time the two of them realized what was happening, it was already too late. The white-haired girl had grown so weak she could hardly leave her bed. Yes? Oh, you are there.
I am.
Thank goodness. I can't see very well anymore.
How could this happen? I thought I'd saved you, but no. You did the exact opposite.
Please, don't talk that way. You did save me that day.
You're on the cusp of death now, and it's my fault. Because of this curse I bear. How? How could this happen? Why did this have to happen? What am I? Why was I given this body?
Mitchell. Can I, ask you a favor?
Go ahead.
Stay with me, please. As much as you can. Until the very end.
I was gonna do as much anyway.
Thank you. I'm happy, Mitchell. Happier than I've ever been. And I mean that. You didn't just save my life. You saved me. I've been saved, but only me. I wonder how he'll handle things when I'm gone. Only I hadn't opened the door that day. I wouldn't be leaving him all alone. And we could be happy together for even longer.
Yes?
Would you please hold my hand?
Oh, that's how it's gonna end. Okay, this is really sad. Damn. Damn.
I think it's probably safe now.
I will not. Cannot touch you. If I do, I might take what remains of your life. Take your beauty away and force you to die hideous. I cannot touch. Why does that matter? I cannot touch you. Oh shit, what's happening now? We got the glitchiness. What's it gonna say if I hover over it? Yeah, he wants as much time as possible. So he's like coming up with excuses, but like at the same time though, like I guess once it kind of hits that moment, like that is like the one thing they wanted to do together. Oh shit, there it is. The glitchy text was hiding something. Like the glitchy kind of effect was hiding things in the backlog. No. No, no. This is all a lie. Shit. I found that out the first time there was a glitchy effect. Because it was hiding something in red text underneath of the glitchy effect. And it was saying that this is not how it actually played out the first time. So I wonder what this actually is. The red text was always sus, and this isn't red, but at the same time, this is also was not shown to us. It was saying that this is all a lie. Yeah. Sussy text. Here. It. Her. Huh? On his way back from the washroom several days later, Mitchell heard muffled voices. He got it. Ill, good. He was having trouble making out what they were saying, but he could tell it was several men, and they were outside the front door. The fact that he could hear them all the way through the front heavy door meant that they were probably shouting quite loudly. An indescribable sense of uneasiness came over him. Is the white-haired girl gone at this point, or is she just still laying in bed? Dread. He drew nearer to the door and focused on the voices on the other side. They grew clearer, enough for him to make out what the men were saying. Everything's in place. We're ready to kill this witch now. This is definitely the place. That half-dead bandit said she was in this mansion. Listen well, no matter what we find in there, we kill it. It could be a child for all I care. That doesn't change anything. Kill the witch. Kill the witch! Kill the witch! Kill the witch! What he heard behind the door was a group of men shouting for the death of the witch. In that moment, Mitchell regretted his decision to let the bandit go free and not watch over him until the moment of his demise. He must have made his way down to the village in search of help, where he revealed what he had found at the mansion. Damn it. But it was too late. Regret would solve nothing. He could neither stop the villagers from raiding the house, nor could he stop the white-haired girl from dying to the effects of his curse. He was helpless to do anything. The gears of his fate had locked him onto a path of tragedy and were turning mercilessly onward. The men had begun trying to break down the door with what sounded like a battering ram. While the first strike was not enough to breach the barrier, it was still quite powerful. He was certain it would not hold for long. Mitchell's mind raced. Was there anything he could do about this predicament? How could he escape from the corner he had been backed into? Despite his possessing inhuman powers, he would be powerless against a full mob of adult men. The villagers almost certainly came armed as well.
Mitchell!
A weak voice came from behind him. Aghast, he spun around to find the white-haired girl stumbling toward him. She breathed heavily, leaning against columns for support. What are you doing out here? You'll only worsen your condition by exerting yourself.
I had a sinking feeling, and I heard noises on my way here. It seems that I have brought all my misfortune upon you.
Don't say that.
If I hadn't come here, this would never have happened. You never would have been in any danger. Please, Mitchell, hand me over to the men outside.
Absolutely not. I will do no such thing.
They're here for the witch, aren't they? I'm guessing they're the same people who were chasing me before. The village had a poor harvest this year, I hear. Like the village in the legend. And they believe it's the witch's curse.
But you're not a witch.
I need someone to fill the role, though. So please, hand me over, and then escape on your own.
I could never.
Please, Mitchell.
I'm the one who's cursed, not you. And you want me to hand you over? What would I have left then? Nothing. Not a thing. I would have nothing. After so long, I finally found someone who isn't afraid of me, who won't run. I have no interest in a world that would take you from me, make me live alone once more. To hell with such a world.
Mitchell.
Would you be willing to die with me?
If that's what you wish, then stay with me until the very end. I probably wanted to hear that just as much as him. No, not probably, I did. I wanted him to have someone at my side as much as him. It's so lonely not having anyone. To live alone, to die alone, to not have anyone watching over you, for no one to even know that you're dead. I simply wanted someone to tell me they're here for me, to be there, to hold my hand. How wonderful that would be. The sense of utter relief it would bring would be enough to cast away all the pain, to allow me to accept all our suffering. So please, tell me you'll...
Oh God, here it comes. I still don't have all the answers here. Mitchell and the white-haired girl chose to spend their final moments at the top of the observation tower. They could hear the crash of the battering ram against the door, the shouts of the men and their stomping feet. But despite all that, the ray of light shining through the little window was as beautiful as always. The room's air of serenity remained unimpeached. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty but sad sounding. After the long climb to the top, the white-haired girl was terribly out of breath. Mitchell considered several times offering her his hand, but the possibility that doing so might rob her of her last scraps of life stayed his hand. It sounds like they broke down the door. I'm glad we made it up here when we did.
I'm so sorry for asking this of you.
Don't be. I would have chosen here for my final moments as well.
This is the one place in this mansion with any sunlight. One place where I can get a good look at you. Thank you.
Oh.
I'm truly glad that I was able to end up here. That I was able to meet you. And more than anything, that you said you cared about me. Have I managed to become an essential part of your life? We even need to ask. I wouldn't be here otherwise. I feel the same way as you, I'm sure of it. The two of us are more similar than you probably care to admit. Can I ask you one more thing?
Go on.
Would you embrace me? If this is to be the end, if this is to be my last chance, then I don't want it to end without having been able to touch you. Please, don't refuse me on this, Mitchell. Just do it, please.
I won't keep you waiting long.
Thank you.
Truth is, I always wanted this. I dreamed of being able to hold you.
I dreamed of it too. Thank you. I'm so very...
Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow, it's a bad day for rain. Oh my god.
She's still so beautiful.
Yeah, this is a heck of a storm. Oh god. What a cruel joke. Do not have given us some other miracle. One that would allow us both to survive. Where are you? Where'd you get off to? I can't find her, damn it. Hey, there's some stairs over there. They lead up.
Beneath the single ray of light, the white-haired girl lay completely still. Not even a frail sigh escaped her closed lips. She remained as gorgeous as ever. It was as though she had simply fallen asleep in the sunlight. Looking down upon her, Mitchell determined to do one thing.
I will not allow anyone to sully this sight.
He gave a fleeting glance back at her pristine corpse, then opened the door and stepped through it alone. He would protect that room where she lay.
I just had like a singular tear escape my eye earlier. Oh god. Wow, it sure is raining. It sure is coming down. Hey, there's someone up here. So this is where you've been hiding, you infernal witch. Wait, that's not the girl.
The raucous sound of their footsteps rang up from below. Shortly thereafter, the men themselves came into view. As he had expected, they were heavily armed. He glowered at the men, then sucked in a deep breath and shouted at the top of his lungs.
I am the witch you seek. I have inherited her curse, and it is I who brings calamity upon you. You hear that? But he's a... man or woman, it doesn't matter. Death to anyone who has ties to the witch. Cleanse this earth of all impurity. Kill him! Kill him! Kill him!
Mitchell did not flinch at the sight of the men. He stood unyielding between them and the door.
Yeah, there you go, just call him a warlock. But they seem to like wanna... Good to call him... oh shit. Good to call him like the witch, so I don't know. Whatever they want to do. But it did cause confusion, because I think for the first 3 chapters, for the last chapter, sorry, not the last, first 3, after chapter 2, when it finally showed him for the first time, and he said he was the witch, I thought that he and the white-haired girl were the same person for, like, the last chapter, so, good that there's a distinction now, because they both have white hair and red eyes, so it's a little confusing. I was like, do they just reincarnate and it doesn't matter? Because it seems like she's reincarnating every 100 years.
Mitchell did not flinch at the sight of the men. He stood unyielding between them and the door. He did not flinch when they raised their weapons against him, nor when they pierced his body.
Oh god, he really go and die.
Die and take your curse with you! I have no need for this life any longer. It's all yours. I am cursed to kill even that which I wish to protect. But at the very least, I can protect one thing before my life is done. Not even a single one of you will leave this place. Wither and die by my curse. The blood spilling from his skewered body flowed down the stairs, down and down like a little river, soaking the feet of every single man who had stormed the mansion. This was the last thing he saw before the final grains of life slipped between his fingers, which brought a faint smile to his lips.
And she's just gonna wake up like nothing happened.
Neither of them had expected what happened next, though Frigod had the most twisted sense of humor. The white-haired girl had not miraculously passed away without being robbed of her beauty.
Oh god, she's alive again now. Uh-oh. What's going on?
Why am I still alive? She had rather not passed away at all.
Is she just immortal now? Is that why?
Quite cruel of him, was it not? Mitchell? Where have you gone, Mitchell? Mitchell? I smell blood.
Wait. They said there were 3 men, right? And we've gone over 3 masters who have all, some of them have said that this is familiar, and maybe like the guy's touch kills people, and maybe the guy's blood makes them either reincarnate or makes them immortal. And that's why they're still around like hundreds of years later in just various chapters but without their memories. I don't know. There's some spooky stuff going here.
Or had he allowed her to die, she would not have been made to witness the scene that awaited her. No. No. I am sure you know just what it was she laid eyes upon in that moment. The ravaged corpse of her beloved. A torrent of blood streaming down, down, down the spiral staircase. And the sickening stench it raised. No! Why? And his was not the only body. The villagers who had assaulted the mansion had been subjected to his curse. The life drained from their withered shells. Why did this? Mitchell, why? Why am I the only one still alive? That is a question I cannot answer either. Perhaps his curse did not affect those he loved, as terribly cruel as that might be. I cannot say. Why? You said that we would go together. A world without you has no meaning. Had she actually expended her life there in the room at the top of the tower, perhaps this tale could have had an happy ending.
A little bit. Yeah, this is definitely a tragic love thing like going on here.
She would have at least been able to have had the man she loved at her side until her very last moments upon this earth. But that was not what had transpired. She had survived being left utterly alone. Let me see, was there anything extra here?
Okay, no, nothing else was X'd out in the backlog. I felt a profound pity for the miserable girl. Where does the maid come in as well? So I called out to her. Oh my god, the maid is the witch Morgana. Would you like to see him once more? What? I have the power to help you meet him again. Who's there? Where are you? You know what they call this mansion. So who do you suppose remains on these grounds? No way. You are from the legend. You actually exist. Now, I asked you a simple question. Would you like to see him again? The witch grants people's wishes, but at a price. I said I wouldn't ask for her assistance if I met her. But that's all changed. Now that I've lost him. If it's truly possible, then yes, I want to see him. Bring him back to life. Regrettably, I cannot directly meddle with the forces of life and death. However, I can guarantee you this. Your reconstruction. Reconstruction? Correct. To ensure that you remain as yourself in future lives, and are not as reborn as someone else, your body and mind shall be reconstructed. As shall his. If you sincerely wish to reunite with one another, if you genuinely need each other in your lives, you will eventually meet again. All I can promise you is eternal reconstruction. What you make of it is up to you. You want to see him again, don't you? You want to hear his voice again, don't you? You want to feel his hand on your cheek once more, don't you? If that's what you want, you must remain who you are. If you are simply reborn, you wouldn't be you. So there wouldn't be any point, would there? Me, as I am, and he, as he is. Make up your mind quickly. I will not wait long. You want this backhand, don't you, Morgana? Yeah, maybe. I mean, this is all the maid's fault then, though, if the maid is Morgana. But then that's weird, because, Mitchell, who we saw before, said he was also Morgana. So it's weird. He said his name was Morgana. I want to see him again. As you wish, sweet little girl. I shall grant you both eternal reconstruction, and pray with all my heart that you can attain true happiness. About to be Morgana. Fair enough. Are we Mitchell then, or are we Morgana? Not Morgana. Are we Mitchell then, or are we Gazelle? Shortly thereafter, the white-haired girl took her own life. She decided she had nothing to gain by remaining in the present time, and that in order to reunite with Mitchell, she needed to make her way to her next life. And thus, the mansion was left bereft of a master, to travel slowly through the ages until someone came along to give it life once more. That was chapter 4. However, we usually go until the start of the next chapter. So, are we Gazelle or are we Mitchell? We still don't know who we are as the protagonist. But an unfathomable amount of time has passed, and the two still have yet to reunite. Have they, Master? You know now who you are, do you not? You remember everything now, do you not? You were present in every single era. The reason for which is as I described in the previous tale. Because you yearn to be reunited with someone. But that person never showed up, in any era. And poor sweet you, having no memory of that. Lived those lives with other men. Okay, so we are Gazelle, the white-haired girl. Is it any surprise this misfortune befell those eras, then?
The door swung closed. Rather than outside, you and the maid were inside the dull, monochrome room at the top of the observation tower. The awe-inspiring ray of light shone not through the lone window high upon the stone wall. Wrapped in a curious, impenetrable darkness, you both stood alone in the room. The maid wore a gentle but brittly cold smile as she looked straight at you. This is not your fault. It is not your fault misfortune befell you. The only force to blame for that is fate. You were always so kind, so pure of heart. You had boundless trust for others and the goodness of people. You are the very image of all that is right. There is no greater misfortune for someone as pure and beautiful as you. Being mercilessly thrown into the grinding gears of tragedy again and again. I still pity you for everything you had to go through. You poor, poor soul. You must be utterly exhausted. Constantly betrayed, the man you were waiting for never appearing. After so long, your spirit worn down to the bone, you lost any and all awareness of who you even were.
I know. She's like saying the words, but she's being a little snarky with it. I kind of got the snarky tone from her from the start. And so because of that, I think that's why I took the voice on for her that I did. Because I thought she sounded a little bit snarky and pretentious from the get-go. And I'm glad to know that I was not wrong in the voice I chose for her.
Who were you hoping to find wandering into this illusory mansion cut off from the real world? You and I are the only ones here. The man you seek is nowhere to be found. Have you still not figured it out? Then allow me to tell you everything. I am the cursed witch, Morgana, who haunts this mansion, and you are the tragic plaything of fate, a white-haired girl named Gazelle. Did my calling you master confuse you? If so, then I apologize. My habit of calling the master or mistress of the house, the master, is quite deeply ingrained. And yes, that means precisely what you think it does. That I have accepted you as my new master. That I wish for you to remain here. To stay with me. So, let us put an end to this journey. Do not worry, there is nothing to fear. We're simply going to step outside the river of time. Nothing unpleasant will ever happen to you again. I will be here with you for all eternity, and I will give you my utmost care. You will not have to wait for anyone. Forget about him, the man you once sought. And I am sure you shall find happiness. Please, do it for me. I've been waiting for you for so very long. I've wanted nothing more than to see you again. But you were continually stolen away from me, despite my sincerest desires to spend my days with you. Which is why I wanted you to recall everything, for surely you would not willingly repeat the same fate, if you knew all of the pain it has caused for you to suffer thus far. Spend eternity with me, in the gentle embrace of darkness. The maid extended her hand for you. Her fingers brushed up against yours were as cold as ever. But her breath tickled your skin pleasantly, and her sweet words rang into your ears, filling you with warmth. Is this the Yuri route? Do we get the Yuri route? You thought back on your time with her in the mansion. She had indeed always treated you with great compassion, and nothing she had said seemed to be a lie. And so you pondered. What were you to do?
Oh no. We have a decision to make. I'ma save. There is still more to be done. Mochi, you can't just run away. We have a decision to make here. But then again, I'm about to select the third thing, and I feel like that is basically what that's about me doing the same thing, man. something seemed off. Not only with the story she had just told, with her, and with you yourself. Yeah, if you try hard enough, you can get away. Assuming everything she had said was the truth.
Witch or no witch, my mind is made up.
Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse?
You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale.
The witch is real, very much so. It's not a legend nor a fairy tale. The witch is me. No, this is from the end of chapter 2. This is where it went back, and we were told this person was Gazelle, but we didn't know who Gazelle was, so I didn't know to use the white-haired girl's voice at the time. But then Mitchell said he was the witch and he was Morgana, and so things don't make sense. The story doesn't add up. Which I think it's been glitching out and saying it's a lie, so we're not done yet. This is not the actual full truth. That's right. It wasn't the white-haired girl who had claimed to be the witch. And that wasn't all. I don't remember what voice I used for this guy. Oh well. Or do you mean to reclaim your old self no matter the cost? If you do, if you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real is precisely that, a fabrication. None of your questions had been answered. You still didn't know who the painting was, or what had taken place so long ago that caused the mansion to summon people to it. You didn't even know who you were, for that matter. There was still more to be done. You had to find the truth. You needed to find someone, that much was certain. But was the story the maid had told correct about whom? And if it was, what about her? What about the woman whose name you couldn't say? The woman who'd so cheerfully called you master. Oh yeah, in the bedroom.
We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope that you can make your own list about me, too. This is just the beginning, after all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty to get to know each other, no?
You must say her name. You must take her hand. You must make her smile once again. You mustn't reclaim your old self. Oh shit. It's dark. Oh, it's the body's noises again. It's the body noises again! Ah! The slosh! The sloosh! Ah! Yeah! It's dark. Dark. It's dark. What in the dead by daylight? It's dark again. It's dark. 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 Constantly. Constantly engulfed in darkness. You threw it away every single time. I must break out of the darkness and... I'll give you a world that's not cruel to you. I must escape and take her hand. It's like two different voices speaking at once. I ain't having that. For real, though. Because that's the reason. Oh, I've got a wonderful idea. I came here. You can curse them with me. I must return. I must reclaim. We can think of new ways to torture them. We'll all be happier if you stay here. Just think about it. Stay here in this world. You'll be right at home. No, I did the best I could for you, nothing more. This is not where I belong. No matter how much of a world darkness may suit me, you'll never be able to do it. I must reclaim my true self. I have one button. I have one button. I just want to get away from the body noises, so, I think we should reclaim ourselves so we get rid of the body noises. This is brilliant. Do you have any idea how terrible a decision that is? Do you have any idea why I fabricated that story? It was all for you. So stay here. Stay right where you are. The darkness suits you better. We still have one button. Remember what someone told you not long ago? That you could handle the stories because they weren't your own? That you were able to bear the tragedies because they happened to others? Are we white-haired girl or are we Mitchell? And is Mitchell just getting reincarnated as everybody? Is that the answer? That he's just the same man suffering the same terrible fate every time? I just need to know. But either way, the body sounds aren't gone, and I'm not okay with that. That you were able to bear the tragedies because they happened to others. If that had been your suffering, if the secrets... Yeah, that's what it feels like at this point. If the secrets you had kept buried away for so long had come out. Oh, yeah, basically, Twyla, what you missed was, yeah, the girl made the deal, and then the maid's like, yeah, you should stay with me forever. I've been waiting for a new master. Also, you're the white hair girl, and you've just been reincarnating, and you've never met your man. And then the white hair, well, and then you were at the same time like, and she's like, will you stay with me forever? And we got a choice to either reject her proposal to stay with her forever, accept her proposal, or we got a third choice saying this is not everything is done yet. And then we kind of went on this thing. Also, there's body noises. I'm gonna quickly turn that off because it's freaking me out a little bit too much while I'm trying to explain this. Basically, then we went through a series of like thoughts there. Yeah. Basically, the maid wanted, yes, it's sensory overload. We basically got a third option, and I think it's because I explored all these various things in earlier chapters, and like went away from the maid, who's Morgana. The maid is Morgana, the witch. And she wanted us to stay with her forever, so we basically said, hey, wait a second. The third option was, wait, I talked to all these people, and this story doesn't line up. Because we saw Mitchell at the end of between chapter 2, like the second door, and the third door. And then he said that the witch is very real, and that he's the witch. And then it wasn't the white-haired girl who claimed to be the witch. And then the man in the painting said that the tale that's about to come next, the one that we just saw of Mitchell and Gazelle, was if it's too beautiful, it's precisely that. It's not real. And then we realized that, hey, our questions haven't been answered. We don't know who the guy in the painting was. We don't know why the mansion is summoning people to it and is cursed. And we still only have the maid's word to go off of for who we were. And then basically it gave us the option. Well, and also somebody that we saw in like the last chapter as well. We went to like a bedroom, and then like there was like a girl that we were talking to whose hand we wanted to hold or something. And then we have no information about what that is. And so now we have like, and then here in this white and red text era, like we're trying to remember who that person is and hold her hand. And then this red person is basically saying, hey, don't remember. Like, you mustn't remember who you were. And then it's like, this person, the white text is us like saying that we must remember, and the red text is saying don't remember. And then then it made us make a choice again. And it just said like reclaim yourself. And so, and then we're like, okay, I guess I can only choose reclaim yourself, and then it had us choose it again just here. And all the red text is trying to tell us, no, don't reclaim ourselves. I don't know if this is a time loop or not, but what I do know here is for sure The white-haired girl is reincarnating over and over again. And we might not actually be the white-haired girl. Morgana might be lying to us. Unless she isn't. I don't know if we're Mitchell or we're the white-haired girl still. But what the red text is saying now is like saying, do you have any reason why I fabricated that story? Any idea why I fabricated that story? It was all for you. And saying here, like, you remember what someone told you not so long ago? That you could handle the stories because they weren't your own? That you were able to bear the tragedies because they happened to others? If that had been your suffering, if the secrets you kept buried away for so long had come out. What I think that this is pointing to is that, like, for the last 3 doors we've gone throughout history have been, like, a different master with the white-haired girl. I think that, like, the maid is saying that Mitchell never reincarnated. I think Mitchell has been reincarnated, but just didn't have the same appearance every single time. Because, I mean, that's what it seems to be leading to me. So maybe we are Mitchell, but we just don't know because we're a different person every time. I don't know. But we're about to find out, I guess. Either way, there's some freaky body noises coming on, and I'm like, yeah, it was total sensory overload. But time doesn't have a good sense here. Basically, door number 1, we've been through, this is the 4th door that we just went through. And there were 3 doors before this. One was in the 1600s, one was in the 1700s, and one was in the 1800s. And this 4th door was supposed to go back to the beginning, but didn't answer anything, so we'll find out. Okay. Body noises! You couldn't possibly have endured it. Okay. We still only have this one option. But you're a sharp one. I'm sure that you intended to keep those secrets tucked away forever. Do you really think I'm going to let you do that, though? Whatever you try to hide, I'll make sure your beloved hears every last detail. I guess we just have to keep pressing it. How foolish can you be? Despite all my encouragement, you still insist on getting your old self back. What do you have to gain from that? Nothing but filthy, ugly tragedy waits you down this path. Keep pressing! Don't get your hopes up, my dear. There's nothing for you there. You have nothing. I am off- Oh, this is Morgana telling us the entire time. Damn! I guess I gotta speak in there. Okay. Okay. I'm offering you a place by my side. You should just take it. There is no salvation for you anywhere. None. At all. Anywhere. From anyone. Ever. She has long since lost all grip on reality. And you think there's anything you can do for her now? Despite having repeatedly failed to even regain yourself? So we are Mitchell? Well, I suppose if you're going to be stubborn. As much as I don't want to, I have to place... Place what? Place what? A curse on your soul. That's right. The white-haired girl was never at the mansion. What? What? Huh? But she was at the mansion every time. What? Was never at the mansion? Huh? Huh? Where's my... Huh? I'll put my own emote there. I need a confused emote in here, because... What? Oh my god! Was it always the maid? What? Huh? There is still a story left untold. What? What? The 4th door was all a lie. What do you mean? It was not some sweet little tragedy. The story you told was pure fantasy. No, that was the truth. That was where it all began. They've lost me here. Because of what happened then, you spent innumerable years lost until you showed up here and... What? You reach out, grasping for it. You pull yourself in. Who is yourself? What's going on? Your silhouette, which has been hazy until now, begins to take form. Your mind, your consciousness, your heart, your soul, and your body. Who are you? The veil in your mind dissipates. A crack forms in the shell encasing you, and then another. The invisible shackles chaining your spirit fall to the floor. Reality fades in atop the indistinct, foggy world around you. Bony fingers appear before your eyes. Long hair. Your voice. No. My voice. My body. My fingers. My arms are frail and my joints weak. Despite my resemblance to the white-haired girl, I am not her. This is who I am. I finally reclaimed myself. You weren't waiting for the white-haired girl. You were waiting for me. And that's exactly why I came here. What? I have no idea what you're talking about. I have always waited for the white-haired. There was never a white-haired girl. She's been in every story. How many hours have we played this game? Huh? 21 hours to find out there was never a white-haired girl. Never! What is going on? What? There was only... This time. This time I must say her name. She is... Gazelle. There was only you. So, Morgana, is she not Morgana, then is she Gazelle the entire time? I am... Gazelle? No. I am not Gazelle. I am a servant of the house. And I am the witch, the cause. You're not a witch. The witch is someone else. Ugh. Why do you insist that you're the witch? What changed you so much? Oh my god. Holy shit. The shadowy figure in the master bedroom. That was her. A glimpse into her past. I'm sure this is Gazelle, but... Why is she so different? What happened to the spark she used to have? Where did the light she once shone upon the world go? I have to remember. I must remember. This cannot end until I have. This is no longer a story. No. What I need to face is my past. And her heart. She was not even present in the story she made up. Everything about it had been changed. The past I lived, and the wounds she bore were more grounded in harsh reality, not wrapped in a film of fairy tale magic. That was the final tale, and it was all true. That's how it happened. It was a bittersweet story. No. How can you not see this? Yes, it was a beautiful tragedy. But was there even a scrap of humanity in it? Behind the 3 preceding doors, there had been a constant thread of ugliness and conflicting motivations. There was hardly a trace of that behind the 4th door. The characters felt like nothing more than characters. Is that what you wanted to turn it into? Is that what you want our history to become? Our history? But
But I don't remember anything at all. You don't remember anything? No, I don't want to. I don't need a past or future. All I have inside me is uncertainty. Gazelle. No! That is not my name! Please stop trying to confuse me! I'm fine with the way things with things as the way they are. If it means I don't have to hurt, that's all I want! So please just let me keep being the maid! Please let me keep being a guide, that's a foolish girl! Is that what she honestly desires? I know, I'm in the say what mochi as well. Like, I have no idea what's going on, but this is intense. Does she want to cast aside her past for good? If so, then... I won't force her. Not remembering isn't an option. Shit. Saving. Nope, she's gonna remember. If I had to remember, she has to remember too. Too bad. No matter what she says, I know I'm right. And if she doesn't reclaim her old self, I'll never get to hear her say my name again. I know I'm being selfish here, but I can't do that. If you're afraid of what you might find, we can remember together. I haven't gotten everything back yet myself. So let's open the real door together. There are no other doors to open. But there is. One that can only open by our hands, because it exists between the two of us. Not a door with physical form, but the door to your heart. The door to... I grasp her unnaturally cold hand, a hand that long ago had warmth. Once had warmth. If she can't lead the way, then I have to. I must pick up the pieces of our erased history so we can both reclaim ourselves. Find the actual truth. No matter what we may uncover, I will not let go of this hand. No, I mustn't let go of it. Firmly grasp it in your hand. Firmly grasp it! Darkness falls over the world around us. The floor upon which we had been standing flickers out of existence, sending us dropping into an endless abyss. This dark pit. This is her door. Her history. Her heart. Let's try this one more time. It's not a sweet story by any means. It's a story of betrayal, anger, hatred. We caused each other pain. But that's the road we traveled. And down that road lies all the answers. Take the first step toward uncovering the truth. Wait, we're going back to the fourth door again. Oh, okay. The fifth door. Firmly grasp it. Again. 1099. Are we getting the truth of this? The true 1099? You know, I was gonna do one chapter. Should I... Do I have it in me to do another chapter? Because now I'm really freaking curious and also really confused what just happened. There's no white-haired girl. How can we go 21 hours and there was never a white-haired girl? How did this happen? Who? What? I'm so confused. I need to know. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna do a vote. Should I do another chapter? Or just recall it and then do our weekly Fata Morgana chapter. If I remember, there are 8 chapters overall. But like, I need to know. And I'm just like, okay. I'm gonna set up a poll. Do we keep going?
need to know now. Need to sleep, please. Okay, I'm gonna leave this up for 2 minutes. There you go. Yeah, I'm not gonna do 8 chapters, but I'm just so confused. I feel like chapter 4, for them to make me do this entire thing, and then suddenly being like, oh yeah, that entire chapter 4 you just did, that was all the maid making it up. Like, huh? What do you mean the maid just made that all up? Although that was actually a really short chapter too. The rest, the other, like, 3 chapters have all been really long. Whereas this one, like the last, chapter 3 that I did was 5 hours long. This was like, I'm only just hitting 3 hours and 30 minutes now. So, yeah, I'm not gonna do 8 chapters though, no way. If I did it, it would just be 1 more chapter. Yeah. Man. I'm just... My brain is a ball of mush, I think. I need to know. Maybe. Perhaps I don't know what's going on. But, you know, they never once mentioned the fact that the... Huh? That's fair. That's a good idea, Twyla, actually. Maybe now is a good time. I do have to go to breakfast in the morning, so if I press myself into the early hours tomorrow, and then I have to sleep and get like 2 hours of sleep and go to breakfast, I'm just hurting myself at the end of it. So that might be, you might be the voice of reason here. I think I need a voice of reason, so I appreciate it. Yeah. Let it fade off here. Okay. Very good. We will leave this here then. Maybe this will be what I do tomorrow. Maybe this is a double Fata Morgana weekend. And then, because we don't have a plan for tomorrow's stream, so maybe I'll just do another Fata Morgana chapter tomorrow, or maybe, we'll see. We'll see what the vibes are like. I'll try to say what we're doing maybe at least a couple hours before I stream tomorrow. So, yeah, thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Mochi. Thank you, Twyla. Thank you, Connor. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a good night with good sleeps and everything. Let's go ahead and see who we... You know... Who's online? Let's go raid Zane. Again. Zane is cool. Yeah. Have a good night, everybody. Let's go say hi to Zane. I'll put a raid message in chat. Let me raid. There we go. There's the raid message. And thank you guys. I hope you all have a good night. Bye-bye. Farewell.